And we should be live. As usual, I'm waiting for confirmation first. Before we're embarrassing ourselves. Exactly.
There we go.
Seems to be on now.
Yep, it's going.
It's going. All right. Welcome, everyone, back again to Dissected Alive. And we're at the big, thrilling Sonic X finale. It's got to be sad saying goodbye to the anime. It was fun. Oh, well, I guess we still have the comics if we still need a little bit of goodbye epilogue feelings, I suppose.
Yeah. So thrilling, in fact, that Luke couldn't make it tonight.
Yes, Luke sadly isn't here. His family had to send him to a party. Poor guy. Family parties to worst nightmare. But he left us some comments for some pre-recorded messages, so he'll still have some presence during this episode, don't you worry. For those giant Luke the Fox fans out there. So yeah, here we again, September. Been longer than a month since I uploaded something. Anyway, how are you guys doing?
I've been doing alright.
Yeah, I'm good. I've mostly just been keeping myself busy working on a new YouTube poop. This time it's themed after Snow White. It's kind of interesting. After I finished the my entry for the Nightmare Before Christmas YTP collab, I'm like, let's try and do one more. So I'm busy trying to finish that up before working on the 100th episode special for Forgotten Media.
You traitor! I thought you hated memes. You're making them yourself.
No, there's a distinct difference on how to handle memes. If it's like, certain ways of using it. And if it's Sonic using memes, then we're all doomed because, with how the freaking memes of fucking gaslight the series and blah, blah, blah. My hatred for the meta era and blah.
Yeah.
Besides, I never technically said that I hate memes. It's more specifically on Sonic with how they use memes of, like, oh, Big the Cat, yeah, I'm always there, I said Froggy, it's pretty much, those kind of jokes and whatnot pretty much really soured my views on Big the Cat. I mean, I used to like him and whatnot, but then the meta era came by and destroyed him for me.
Yeah, tainted him.
Poor Big.
Yeah, tainted him. The fucking idiots on Twitter and whatnot. Especially Sonic Twitter. Damn you, Sonic Twitter. Brainwashing the fan base with your memes and shit.
Oh well, they've been quieting down since. And I kind of like the Lego videos they made. They were fun.
Yeah.
Why is it that Dr. Eggman is always at his best in the Lego videos? Like, my favorite Eggman we had in the past decade was from the Lego Dimensions game. Lego gets the most out of him for some reason.
They seem to get the essence just right.
The pettiness, and he's not very threatening, but they get the pettiness perfect, so that's good.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I think your problem with memes is the same problem I have when you just use it as a punchline in and on itself rather than as a tool. Like, it's like a joke that's just a punchline but without any kind of body to it.
Yeah, it always feels more like a... Well, basically, it's more like a cheap get-out-of-jail-free card kind of way.
Exactly. Like, it's just, like, in instant, people laugh at you without you having to put effort into it.
Yeah, or just pandering... or just done to pander to a specific crowd and not, like, the actual Sonic crowd. So that was another reason why I hated the whole, meta-era craze, because it felt like that particular era was pandering more to the Sonic haters rather than the actual fans.
Yeah, you could say that. But hey, the meta era seems to be over now, so at least we'll see what happens. At least Sonic Frontiers and Superstars looks like a different beast. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. When is Superstars coming out anyway? We still don't know
October.
anything, do we?
I think 13th of October.
Oh, we have a date now. All right.
Yeah.
A month. Oh my. And this month, the Sonic Frontiers final DLC was coming out?
Yep,
Yeah.
on the 28th, 2 days after my birthday.
Huh, alright. But too late for the next stream, so alas. But what we do have this stream is Sage. Not that it's very helpful, because yet again, it's exactly a day before our stream, so it's not like we could really prepare all that much.
Yeah. Maybe it's something for you to do... Maybe
next stream or something, I guess. I don't know. Or
Yeah.
Video.
Basically, it hasn't given us time to really try out more than one thing.
Yeah, you tried something?
Yeah. Oh, jeez. I tried out...
You need to drink something. Take your time.
Well, give me a second, then. So I tried out Sonic Battle Rush because I freaking love Sonic Battle, and I'm getting into fighting games, so this looked very fun, and it has been so far. I'm not quite sold on the controls yet because it's a 4-button fighter, but it has a 6-button fighter control scheme. And what that means is, like, there's light, medium, and heavy attacks, but in order to do a medium attack, you have to do 2 light attacks in a row. So
okay.
what this means is, like, for Shadow, his, like, battle combo, as they're called, which is the standard combo from Sonic Battle, just ported to this game, starts with a medium attack, and so you have to hit a light attack before you can even start the combo.
That
So
sounds very awkward.
that's weird. Yeah, I feel like it works. It absolutely works. It just feels weird because, like, I can't start the combo where it starts.
So is this really like Sonic Battle, that you have like three-dimensional movement and an open area, or is
Nope.
it more like Sonic the Fighters?
No, it's
a 2D
it's
fighter.
it's even more 2D than Sonic the Fighters.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
I kind of like the whole Power Stone-ish feel of Sonic Battle. You can really run around in
Yeah.
arena.
Yeah, it was fun. It had some problems, but, like, this is trying to be, like, more of a competitive fighting game, and it opens up so many opportunities for cool looking combos. So I don't mind that they made the change.
So basically, for you, it's a 3 out of 10.
I mean, currently, yes. There's only 2 characters.
It's an alpha, so
Well,
Yeah.
judging from the fact that it's called Sonic Battle Rush, then I imagine the roster is going to be like a combination of characters from Sonic Battle and Sonic Rush games.
yeah. But
That
so far the
could be
gameplay
interesting.
doesn't sound like Sonic Battle or Sonic Rush, so it's kind of a confusing name.
It has some Sonic Battle elements to it, including there is the Ichikoro gauge, which you can do by holding the guard button. Even though you can, like, block normally, like you can in other fighting games, they also brought back the block button from Sonic Battle. I'm not quite sure. I think it's just because it acts as a parry. So, and if you hold it down, you will start charging your meter, just like you do in Sonic Battle.
All right, neat.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of attacks from Sonic Battle, so... And they specifically incorporated every character's basic combo from that game, so... It's definitely got the bones of Sonic Battle in it.
That's good. Do characters also fly off and crash into walls? I love that in Sonic Battle.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can still do that.
Oh, that's so satisfying. Like give him a punch combo and just knock into a wall. So
They even have, like, a special feature about it where, in order to do that, you have to perform their classic combo. Where, like, you can do the last hit of the combo at any time, but if you do the full combo, you get the launcher. And just like in Sonic Battle, if you yourself are launched, hold your movement stick towards the wall, and you will jump off of it in order to counterattack.
all right, neat.
Yeah, and also there's a unique. There's only 2 characters right now, but if you have Sonic vs. Shadow, they have a unique intro animation where they, like, do crisscross attacks all across the screen, which is really cool.
Oh, the Sonic
And-
Adventure 2
and-
battle intro. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
References.
Yeah, and they also have a unique win quote against each other where Sonic will say, what can I say? I die hard. I don't quite remember what Shadows was, but it was also a Sonic Adventure 2 reference.
Looks like you're the real faker around here. or something, probably.
Yeah. They have announced that Knuckles will be the next character they add, but he just barely didn't make it in time for Sage.
Figures he's late. That knucklehead.
Well, hey, he's too busy guarding the Master Emerald, so, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
Still
For
too
once.
busy playing around. All right, neat. Yeah, the only...
Also, both characters have 6 alternate colors right now, and while they seem to just be like originals, Sonic has a classic Sonic color scheme, and Shadow has a Mephiles color scheme.
Oh, joy. Now I can get to beat the shit out of Classic Sonic in his overuse.
Exactly.
Even
That's
better,
kinda
he can
fancy.
kick the shit out of Classic Sonic as Mephiles. That's the ultimate modern versus Classic Sonic.
Do it.
Better end the battle with Mephiles actually stabbing him through the chest.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah, it's definitely very fun. It's just so satisfying to just land that combo and send them flying across the screen like. So yeah, I highly recommend it. I'll be watching this to see future updates, and yeah, anyone that wants to check it out, try it.
All right.
Yeah.
Hope it goes
Yeah.
somewhere. Because sadly,
Yeah,
there's always
man.
a lot of demos that never seem to go anywhere.
Love the
Yeah,
expressions. I'm just saying, just love the expression of Shadow, like getting deflected by a shield. Like, huh? You deflected
That's
my attack.
impossible.
No way.
Boing. Yeah, I'll have to get around to doing the Sage games. I've seen a few that have caught my interest. Like, we got an update for the Sonic Mick Origins that we talked about last time. Now
Oh,
it's
yeah,
called
that
Sonic Mick Origins Plus. So it sounds like they found the missing games. And then there's also Sonic Wonderland that sounds interesting. Although I think that's more just a quick demo.
I'm more interested in the PlayStation 1 looking games, so I'm going to check these out. I did
Well,
play
they're
the Sega Master System versions. They were kind of cool. Except the last one is making it very open, where you have to explore and find elements, which I don't really like, because I like the Game Gear games for being so simplistic and straightforward. But, Sonic 1 and 2 Super Sega Master System were pretty awesome. I can recommend those if you like the Game Gear games. Like super versions of them with new levels and new level set pieces. It's only kind of confusing that sometimes they kind of... Because for the most part, it's a straight remake of the original Game Gear Master System games. But they do sometimes add or make the levels extra long and add extra danger and elements to it. But they only do it with the early zones and not with the final zones, which is kind of confusing to me because it feels to me like it should definitely be the final zones that need additional challenge. Because now the first zones go on for longer than the final zones sometimes. Especially Sonic 1, where Sky Base Zone is over in 30 seconds. It's like, oh, that's kind of underwhelming for the final stage. Mm-hmm. Could really add a little extra set pieces there, buddy. But other than that, yeah, awesome. Recommended. But yeah, I guess maybe next stream we'll talk more about it. We didn't have much time to take a good look yet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, plenty of interesting stuff to see. I'm shocked how many Mario fan games there are. Doesn't Nintendo always kill those?
Well, I guess they just haven't found them yet.
Oh, no. Nintendo hunters on the
They're sending out their ninja squad.
Nintendo wasn't expecting to find Mario fan games at the Sonic Amateur Games Expo.
Yes.
It's the perfect hiding place.
Exactly. They'll never find us.
Yeah. No one will ever know.
It is offensive. Get them out of here. It's supposed to be Sega. But hey, at least it's very Nights of the Dreams themed this year, so that's kind of cool. A lot of Nights games. I played a couple of them as well.
Yeah.
What I find it kind of interesting is that most of them only focus on Nights, and the element where you play as the kid is completely removed. Except for one game that's the complete opposite. That seems to be entirely based around the kids running around in Dreamland, and there's no Nights element to it. So looking forward to how that looks like. The sprite work looks incredible of Dormivigilia, or however you pronounce that.
Yeah, that is pretty neat. Now all we need is a fan-made Knights game based on the comics.
Maybe the Pizza Tower one.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, then good luck with that, because the comics Archie only made like 6 Knights comics, and that's it.
Yeah, alas, poor game. I never get much of a chance. But yeah, I was kind of curious to Knight's Open Dreams, where it's like an open world 3D Knight's game, but man, it doesn't play on my computer for some reason. Like my camera constantly points to the ground and it can't fly around. But, maybe it's me. Either way, I guess we should start.
Well, aside from that, maybe your cameraman is just drunk.
Possibly. Who knows? So, shall we go to Sonic X, the grand finale? Our sad, tragic goodbye.
It's the big finale where we definitely have a lot to say about these episodes, yeah.
Yeah, not only these episodes, but have to say goodbye to the series in general.
Yeah. Well, unless we go back to the Sonic X comics. Well, hey, we covered like 2 of them, so we'd have like 38 more to go. Then we'd be officially done with Sonic X.
Oh, but you see, no, guys, it's a trap. Because Sonic X issue 40 is a tie-in to the main Archie series universe. He's trying to get...
Melting Man is trapping us.
Well, that is just a more easier way because, issue 40, I'm going to have to do a lot of explaining about what the hell's going on with that particular story. Because that's the only one where they do a crossover with Archie Sonic.
It's actually kind of funny how I found out about that. It was just like complete accident that like I started collecting comic books or Sonic comics briefly around that time. So I picked up something called Hedgehog Havoc, and it has like all 8 of the major Hedgehog characters fighting each other at the time. And during the fight, Shadow uses Chaos Control to teleport Metal Sonic away. And then I picked up Sonic X issue 40, not thinking anything of it, and it starts with Shadow and Metal Sonic teleporting into Sonic X.
What a happy coincidence.
And then and then that one ends with Shadow and Metal Sonic teleporting away. And then around the time they introduced Sonic Universe, and issue 1 starts with Shadow and Metal Sonic teleporting to a different universe.
Yeah, they first start off in the Anti-Mobius, then the Sonic X universe, and then they end in the Soul Dimension in Blaze's universe.
Oh man, why did I never read those comics? I'm gonna make a running gag of that, and every single cartoon I make, it starts with Shadow melting and Metal Sonic just teleporting in for no reason.
Well, that's because Europe doesn't like Archie Sonic. They never got
or American comics in general. They're very hard to find.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah. So, use scans. That's what I always say nowadays for like anyone, like any newcomers that want to get into Archie Sonic. Like, use scans, because unless you're a millionaire and want to blow off so much money and getting physical copies, then yeah.
Hey, it's the internet. We can find everything online now. So, lucky us. We can be lazy now. Woohoo!
But unlucky for people who own the physical comics.
Yeah, if you want the physical copies, then it's quite a challenge indeed.
Yeah, tough luck, because, Archie had lost the license years ago, and obviously Sega has no plans of getting those stories reprinted and all that, with all the complicated legal mumbo-jumbo behind it.
Then again, hey, they're online, so you can always just print them out yourself, I guess.
Yeah, they might as well. I mean, what the hell's Sega gonna do? Absolutely fucking nothing, that's what.
Because they're not the masters, but they're something, I suppose. Just make your own version.
Yeah, kind of pointless drum there.
Indeed.
So anyway,
What's
Sonic
happening?
X.
Well,
all right.
That's right, indeed. So Luke wanted to do the synopsis of episode 77, so I guess we'll move on to Robot Luke, who's gonna fill in for Real Luke for today.
Yeah. Newcomer, Metal Luke.
Hi guys, sorry I can't be with you tonight. I got invited to a birthday party by my family, so I made this recording on my thoughts on the last 2 episodes of Sonic X and the series as a whole. I thought I might do the synopsis of episode 77 if Roger will allow it.
No.
In the last ep, Dark Oak went from being a cool 3-headed monster fused to a planet to a really lame shriveled up testicle. We get a flashback of Cosmo being born and being named by the mother Deku Tree. Whilst the shriveled testicle is growing in forestation power, Shadow and Sonic try to attack it, but Sonic gets sent back by gloom or evil gas or something. The tornado crashes back onto the Blue Typhoon, but Sonic and Amy are fine. Vector comes into the bridge with the depowered Chaos Emeralds. Sadly, what happened in Sonic Adventure won't work here. They have no energy whatsoever and are as flat as cheap AA batteries. Eggman agrees to pour all his ship's energy into the emeralds in the hope they'll regain their powers, but the testicle begins to glow as Chlamydia does that to you, sending out funky shockwaves that make all the planets they seeded to turn into massive forest planets and drain all life in the universe. Kinda like that scene in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but with trees instead of nasty goo. I guess in a way Dark Oak is acting like Ego the living planet. It does not affect Cosmo though, as she and the Metrex are of the same species. She gathers up the dead emeralds. She plans to go straight to Eggman and gives the emeralds to him to be powered up. We get a cool scene of Cosmo climbing and thinking back to all the good times with her friends. We even get a shot of other inhabitants of Sonic's world, which shocked me as we never see them. It's weird how Vanilla Cream's mom stands out and is the most detailed, and the designs look very similar to how the inhabitants look in Sonic Forces and the IDW comics. But the way this show predicts the future doesn't stop there. The Dark Testicle sends out a shockwave making branches grab Cosmo. She loses the emeralds going into deep space. Now everybody is fucked. Suddenly the Dark Testicle opens and a huge light appears. Everybody recovers their strength thanks to the light of the stolen planet eggs, and it recharges the Chaos Emeralds to beyond maximum capacity. Shadow remembers his new girlfriend, and so he and Sonic transform into Super Sonic and Super Hyper Shadow. They go into the testicle and completely destroy it. Hooray, the universe is saved! Or is it? A dark black planet appears. This is like the end from Sonic Frontiers, but more creepier. I think it should have looked like this instead of an asteroid, and it's insane how it predicted that boss by nearly 20 years. Unless Izuka got the idea from this series. It creates a weird gravitational force by compressing the planet eggs. Chris compares it to squeezing a balloon, meaning Dark Oak has turned itself into a bomb so powerful it would obliterate the entire universe and reality itself. Sonic and Shadow try to stop it, but they got caught in the gravitational field. Bokun asks Eggman what to do, so he suggests that Deco and Boko should go kill themselves, due to having self-destruct sequences on their bodies. But they agree that ritualistic suicide is not enough to stop it. Sonic suggests to put all energy into the Sonic Driver to blast them into it, even though they don't have the Master Emerald anymore, and doing such an act might kill them, as it might not penetrate the energy wall. Cosmo gets a vision from her mum, telling her what must be done. You better get your tissues out for this. Cosmo says goodbye to Cream and she flies off to the Dark Planet. Her medallion breaks and she begins to mature herself. She got past the gravitational field, and in an act of sacrifice, she transforms into a tree, fusing with the Dark Planet which holds back the field, giving them a clear shot to destroy it. Now comes the most hardest, most feeliest, most tear-inducing scene in the entire show. Cosmo asks Tails to shoot her, even though Sonic and Shadow are ready for it. Tails has a huge mental breakdown. How can he shoot his friend? His true love? There is no other way, and it must be done to save the universe. In the words of Mr. Spock, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one. Tails couldn't bring himself to do it, as she promised to come stay at their world. Eggman keeps yelling, "Damn it, Tails, take the shot!" This is like old Yeller taking up to 11. In the last second, Tails pulls the trigger after Cosmo tells him it'll be okay, destroying the Sonic Driver in the process, and enveloping everything in a bright light. Man, the way this episode ended was really emotional, and is one of the best Oscar-winning moments for Tails. I never expected such a scene like this appearing in the show, of Cosmo begging Tails to kill her in order to save the universe, and it shows how much this series has grown from a goofy series of Sonic and Friends on Earth to a really dark and emotional space opera that's right up there with Star Wars or Star Trek. Wrath of Khan, eat your heart out. I do find the shot of the characters hitching a ride on Cream's ship pretty hilarious.
All right, that concludes Luke's contribution for now.
Yeah.
Gonna give him
More round of
applause.
applause for him.
Yeah.
There we go. So, Sala, your thoughts?
Yeah, so this is definitely a very emotional episode. And this is also my first time watching the Japanese version of this episode. And
Oh, wow.
I'd heard so many times that like 4 Kids butchered this episode. I didn't realize just to what extent they did though, because there were so many scenes cut out. And yeah, it really does like change the tone just a tad. Like it's still very, very sad in the English dub, but this is just a very sad episode in general.
Indeed, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
With that being said, one of the things that they changed about the episode was some of the things they changed were kind of silly, like when at the beginning when Cosmo puts her hand on her pendant and like calls out to Galaxia. 4 Kids made the pendant glow for some reason. There's no. Also, I wrote down here in my notes. Cosmo is Cedrian Jesus because like she was the last seed to be able to grow and the only one from Galaxia's seeds.
Ah, yes. Siege Jesus versus Jesus Chuck Norris Hedgehog.
I see. Won this time. Wow. Ewan, your thoughts? Okay, those were Ewan thoughts.
Excellent.
Uh,
Well said.
very good.
Sorry, did I put
just-
you on the spot?
Pretty much.
Sorry, you haven't
Because
talked-
normally you wouldn't normally say this sort of stuff to me. It's like, Ewan, what's your thoughts? But I suppose because Luke's not here, it's like, now it's all up to me, and I'm not even prepared for that sort of stuff.
All right, well, if you need some time,
Back
and
up.
we-
I'll probably just butt in here and there what I think about certain things.
all right, fair enough. Melty, your thoughts?
Let's see. Yeah, there's definitely a lot to say about this episode, and yeah, it's definitely very sad, and this is definitely one of those prime examples of why I keep saying the Japanese version is better. It's like, yeah, it's definitely this episode being one of them, especially with how I've always talked about like the music and whatnot, but it's quite surprising that in this particular episode, at least in the Japanese version, there's barely any music, which is very adds up to the emotion and whatnot, unlike the 4 Kids dub.
Yeah, I was
But,
about to say, it's
yeah.
very atmospheric, especially when everything is dark and the power falls out. You see Till sitting all alone in a giant room. Very effective. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, especially with when Dark Oak uses his power to make all the planets covering all those planets and draining all the life forces and whatnot. Like, yeah, that's quite intense. And then Cosmo's obviously the only one not affected because they're both the same race. And yeah, and then of course, as Salas said, there is a lot that they cut out of this. So we'll start with the smaller stuff. So like in the Japanese version, when Cosmo's like, we're not fighting. We're not going to give up Dark Oak. We're going to continue fighting. And we get all these quick cuts of, like, all the characters that we've seen in past episodes of fighting off their power, which, of course, that got cut out in the US dub. And then we move on to the more major scene with Tails making the ultimate choice of killing Cosmo when she goes into her full form and stabilizes Dark Oak so that they can be destroyed. And, man, I tell you, it's definitely the Japanese version that wins top tier. Like, fuck, it's just completely tear-jerking the way the whole scene is like acted and played out, and Tails is constantly crying and yelling his head off, and all this kind of drama and sadness is like, emotion. It's why I like seeing some Sonic stuff these days, and not the fucking pussified version we got in the 4 Kids dub.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I mean, I guess there's a lot to censor because it's pretty intense. Still, I have to admit, I was kind of laughing a lot in this episode. I found a lot of things kind of funny, even though it's not supposed to be. Particularly the whole ending. It's so sad, but yet you constantly get these big close-ups of Cosmo, especially in the Japanese version. Just, I want you to shoot me, Tails. Was she have the big smile on her face? Like out of context, that's very creepy and kind of funny. Especially after Tails actually shot, you immediately gets this big giant close-up of a big smiling face. Like, yay, I shot you. And
it's especially.
Go ahead.
It's especially funny that like throughout like this entire episode, she seems happiest when she's like, "Oh, I get to die."
I thought I was useless, but now I get to kill myself.
She got this huge smile on her face the entire time.
Japan loves their suicide girls. First, Molly. Exactly. I always thought I was useless. Tails, I want you to shoot me. Taking in a different context, that's very wrong.
Yeah. Exactly.
I also saw you had the screenshot of a certain moment that was cut from the 4Kids dub, and that is when Cosmo is maturing.
Oh, the close-up of her breasts, I bet.
The close-up of her breasts growing.
Yeah, quick puberty moment, yeah.
In the 4Kids dub, they just do her hips growing twice.
Oh my.
I was surprised they put emphasis on that, because most of the time it's kind of ambiguous if Sonic characters even have breasts. They always look flat, and unless, well, with some art, it kind of depends. So it feels like, oh, it's just depending on the artist. But here they really put emphasis on it. It's like, yes, if they're adults, they get breasts. Like, okay, thank you for telling us. We perverts love to know this stuff.
Yeah, well, now that you mention it, Sal, with the whole like hips growing twice thing, I think 4Kids only made that even worse. Yeah, putting more focus down there, all that junk in the trunk.
Yeah. It's like, damn, look at the size of those beauties.
Yeah. That Cosmo's caboose.
Yeah.
But it's kind of depressing, especially since Eggman basically says that, like, as soon as one of her species is adult, she immediately dies. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that's only mentioned in the Japanese version. I don't remember that in the English dub.
That sucks. So,
Exactly.
they never get to be adults.
Yeah.
Just for 5 minutes or so.
Yeah. But yeah, and then it's pretty crazy with the whole idea where they transfer all their power into that one cannon and using a Supersonic and Super Shadow to be fired off of. And they're like, well, if we do that, then we have no idea what'll happen. You might even die in the process because of too much energy. So yeah, it's definitely quite a tense moment there.
Another thing I found funny, and if I was making a parody of this episode, I would definitely put emphasis on it. But you see Shadow and Sonic both in the cannon, and they start spinning and bouncing around, waiting for Tails to shoot the gun, and then you get the moment where Tails is like hesitating and taking a long time and talking with Cosmo. Like, I would so wish it constantly cut back to the cannon. You still saw Sonic and Shadow bouncing around. But why is he finally shooting us? It's like, no, you're gonna have to wait for half an hour.
To the point where they start sounding like Gary's mod, like ragdoll physics sounds.
Oh, yeah.
It's at that point because they're just getting tired.
Exactly, that would be great.
You know, I can kind of imagine the whole scene plays like, you know, like, oh, Tails, I want you to kill me. Like, no, I don't want to. Back at the cannon.
Well, now I regret it. I'm not making a bridge series of Sonic X or something. But man, with these two last episodes, I'd have a field day. There's so much fun stuff here. It was kind of dark because it's a sad episode, but there's so much that can have fun with.
Especially with the amount of people just telling Tails just to, you know,
do it. Exactly, perfect place for him to show up. Yeah. Decapitate her.
I'm actually disappointed that Melting Man beat me to the Wii joke, because I was going to make that joke about Sonic and Shadow and the Sonic Power Cannon just going absolutely bonkers. While everyone else is having this incredibly emotional scene, Tails is gonna have to kill Cosmo.
Yeah, like, Tails, you must kill him. Like, no, but Cosmo, I back in the cannon.
Just a whole bunch of pinball sound effects.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Surprised they were able to go straight after all that time.
Yeah.
Guys.
But yeah, speaking of the emotion scene, I'm kind of surprised with well, maybe not that surprised, but yeah, in the Japanese dub, we not only see Tails having a very emotional moment, but we also see the rest of the cast, because there's quite this lengthy scene where the other characters are like, oh, we must kill Cosmo, like, oh, like Knuckles like, no, there must be another way, it's like, oh, Rouge is like, oh, shut up. And, like, you know, everyone's, like, really sad and crying. Like, I think even in the Japanese version, when the cannons fire, we actually hear Rouge crying. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty intense stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But then you get the shot of, like, for the gun, like, being completely black and smoke, and all the smoke coming out and immediately crumbling apart. Yet again, I was laughing because it felt so comical, like it's a Looney Tunes cartoon. Like, as if Elmer Fudd shot his gun, but Bugs Bunny puts his fingers in the barrel or something. Because it looks so silly, the whole cannon of gun itself is explode and immediately crumbles apart. With cartoon timing. It's like
yeah, especially when they added in all the sound effects and whatnot in the 4Kids dub.
Oh, that makes it even worse. Yeah, I only saw the Japanese version. I can't imagine it's even worse there.
Yeah, in the Japanese version, the whole scene is just mute, and it's just the song playing at the end. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know why, just because you mentioned the whole Looney Tunes things, I'm just expecting, like, the moment when, like, Sonic and Shadow just smash into, like, you know, Dark Oak and such, and yet all I get is, like, Porky Pig going, beep, 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 that's all, folks. And long, da-da-da-da-da-da.
But it kind of felt like that because the next episode, at least in the Japanese version, we immediately cut to an epilogue where they're already home. So you could almost do that like that, yeah. It's like, oh, they hit Dark Oak, he explodes, like, boom, epilogue. Like, okay.
Yeah, that's kind of how it ends the US dub, yeah.
That's for the next episode.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Tails, you must kill me. Like, well, it's like, well, you won't be in any other Sonic media after this, so, okay, sucks to be you.
Yep, the saddest thing of all. Anyway, but of course Cosmo's not the only one dying, so also let's have a rest in peace moment for the palm trees and the runway of the spaceship. They all died when the plane crashed into them. Oh, I always love those palm trees. I love those palm trees, and now they're dead.
Like, curse you, Chris, for flying into those trees.
Oh, Chris's fault, another one of his sins.
They gave their life to save our sins, yeah.
I guess so.
Damn you, Chris!
But I also love for how much build up there is to this final battle, like when he turns to the big rock in space. Like, as soon as Super Sonic and Super Shadow attack it, it's like over in 5 seconds. But then again, how can you make a fight like that interesting? All you see is just them flying around while the space ball doesn't barely do anything and then just explodes. Like, okay.
Yeah, I kind of find it a bit funny with the, first it was the shell thing, and then it was back to a planet. So it's like, giant water planet with King Ghidorah, then it gets destroyed. Okay, this is my final form now. Turns to a giant walnut, that gets destroyed. No, okay, this is my final form now. It just turns to a giant rock.
Yeah, this is really, it really feels like an RPG video game, yeah, with all the endless final forms. By defeating me, you made me even more powerful. By defeating me again, you made me even more powerful.
And I have now become the form of a teddy bear.
Yeah, I will hug the universe to death.
So he starts off as like a badass warrior, then he turns to a free-headed dragon, then he becomes a rock in space, and then he is nothing. So it's not really improving. Oh well.
Yeah.
And it really has this Japanese trope of everyone constantly saying each other's name, which is also driving me insane. Sonic, Shadow, Cosmo, Sonic, Shadow. Yeah, I know what they're called.
Yeah, that can be annoying in the Japanese version where they're constantly repeating the same names over and over again. Yeah.
Cultural differences again.
Yeah. Sonic, Shadow. That's my name, don't wear it out.
Yeah, Sonic, Shadow, Cosmo, SpongeBob.
Donkey.
Donkey.
Big Skull.
Judgment? Why judgment?
Like, again, with episodes like this, making it a abridged episode would be so easy. Jokes practically write themselves.
Yeah. Sylvia's posting a comment in our chat that someone pointed out in the comments. So Rhino, so has this episode now introduced the idea that 1, Tails and Cosmo love each other, and 2, Cosmo is apparently an adult throughout the whole season? Does any of you think it's weird, or take it as a not thought through, like with Chris' dad and granddad? Yeah.
When Das ages.
I think that Tills and Cosmo loved each other has been properly set up, so that's perfectly fine. But yeah, Cosmo being an adult is kind of weird. Especially since there's not much of a point to it. I mean, so how does it work? He is an adult, but as long as he has the medallion on, he remains like a child? So it's like the opposite of a grown hormone or something?
I don't know. I think it's just like, they perhaps age like normal, but when they utilize their powers, they basically essentially have like a quote unquote super type form, which only lasts as long as how like young they were, sort of thing.
I guess it's their version of when the guys turn into those dinosaurs.
Yeah, the supernova things,
Yeah, I don't think it's meant to imply that she is actually an adult.
Yeah.
They say that she reached maturity, which is different.
Yeah.
So she's, you could so she's still technically somewhat of a child, but just more in a matured out body to a degree.
Yeah.
Basically, the polar opposite of Chris.
I don't think we've been tricked about her age.
I always took that as just more of her own super form when the medallion breaks, rather than like, oh, I'm suddenly aged, and then 5 seconds later I'm now 21.
Yeah, this episode does have a problem with suddenly bringing in information out of nowhere, but those two examples don't bother me too much. Other examples I did notice is suddenly Tills is talking about requiring rings for spaceship equipment, which I think has never been brought up before this. So that suddenly came out of nowhere. There's also moments where suddenly they're commentating on Sonic and Shadow in super mode. It's like, oh, you're already overtaxing your body. It's like, how do you know that? How can you see that from a distance? And Sonic and Shadow never say anything about it. So they do constantly bring up information, but I'm constantly like, where's this coming from, huh? But the next episode's even worse at that. It's establishing or doing a lot of things that I wish they kind of did before, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that later,
Oh, well. Also, I find kind of interesting when Dark Oak is like observing life forces from all living beings. He's also doing it from robots. Like, how does that work? Does that mean you can also take it from appliances?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that was also another scene that was removed in the English dub.
It was, yeah. They didn't have that in the English dub, which good because like that's confusing. Their explanation is that he's just taking energy in general, not specifically like life force.
Yeah, but then plants should also qualify, but I suppose those don't.
Yeah, I guess he's like purposely excluding plants, but like if he's taking it from Deco, Boko, and Bokun, he should be taking it from the Blue Typhoon as well. But he's not.
Yeah,
that's a very good point. Yeah,
I guess it's more of like living machines rather than just random spaceships. But yeah, although I guess in some ways I'm kind of glad it's not in the English dub. It's like, no, I don't want to see my best boys in pain that much.
Yeah,
exactly.
Fair enough. But of course, you did enjoy Cosmo struggling with the tentacles, didn't you? You pervert.
No, not really.
No. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'm not one of those. Yeah, not one of those. Oh, whatever.
Good for
Besides, it's a tree, so it's hard.
But yeah, like Luke said, it's kind of shocking to suddenly see like Anthro civilians again. I really wish we got more reviews of them.
Yeah, but of course only in the Japanese version. Yeah.
Just get very quick little glimpses of them. I mean, to be fair, we've seen them more than I expected. When we came into Sonic X, I wasn't expecting to see any. But yeah, for the excruciatingly few glimpses we got of them, was not very much now. Just enough that we know they exist, I suppose.
Yeah.
Hey, credit to Sonic X for doing a better job world building than Sonic Prime ever did. So, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah. Anything else?
I think you were mentioning earlier on about how, like, despite Super Sonic and Super Shadow being like held back by the forces of the Dark Oak's planetoid form, and yet Cosmo just effortlessly just goes through it like she's no clipping.
Yeah, that made me laugh.
Yeah, Cosmo, use no clip.
It's like you're watching a speed run. Yeah, it's like the proper players just like look on shocked, and she's just like wee, wee.
Yeah, right, and if that doesn't work, just use the backwards long jump.
There you go.
Yahoo! Yahoo!
That'd be funny if you did all kind of weird flips like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. It was kind of funny that like Supersonic and Super Shadow are trying so hard to get through this gravity field, and then it just immediately disintegrates upon touch with Cosmo.
Yep. Bland's power.
Flower power.
Yeah.
My powers combined, I am not Captain Planet.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. What else?
I guess one more thing about the whole emotional bit that Tails has about trying to shoot Cosmo and whatnot. Yeah, it is surprising that out of all the characters, it's Eggman that actually tells him or reasons with him that he has to go through with it.
Makes sense. I can't imagine the others saying that. Of course. But yeah, it's nice that the side characters get their heroic moments. If anything, Tails and Eggman play a much more important part in this climax than Sonic and Shadow. They barely do anything, but besides staring around uselessly, I guess. Or being the bullets eventually.
Well, I mean, the Chaotix had the, they had the important job of bringing the Chaos Emeralds in. So at least there's that.
I have to admit, I was still shocked to see them around. Like they've been so like thrown to the side in this show. Like they were never allowed in the main stories, and it was just weird fourth wall breaking side characters. To actually see them so active during the climax kind of took me by surprise. Yeah, but a nice surprise. I liked them seeing them there, even though in this episode they didn't really do much.
Yeah.
But yeah, good episode. Pretty dramatic. Even though I was laughing a little too much, but I'm a psychopath. My brain has been poisoned by my parodies.
Yeah.
Well, in some ways, I kind of find one of the final shots in the Japanese version of it funny when Tails and Cosmo have their final goodbye in the white limbo thing, and they're holding hands, and I'm just like, damn, Tails is real short in that scene.
Yeah, but then again, Cosmo suddenly turned adult, so
Yeah.
he got himself a MILF. Ooh.
There was a.
Yeah, Tails really
There
loves
was like a.
Looks like a what?
Tails really likes tall women, is what he said.
Oh, there you go.
There was another scene that I found kind of silly, and it's when like Cosmo is carrying the Chaos Emeralds up to Eggman's ship in like a little handbag, like, and as she's climbing, something happens, and she ends up like letting go, and they just drop in space.
That was kind of confusing, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so like Dark Oak uses one of the vines to grab her and like ram her into Eggman's ship, which knocks her out.
Right, yeah.
And I do find it a bit weird, like she drops them and it looks like they're falling down, but the next time we see them they're like falling like sideways. Like what?
Yeah.
That was indeed
Gravity? Who gives a crap about gravity?
Yeah, gravity. Who gives a crap about gravity?
To be fair, they're in outer space, so I guess gravity is kind of whack out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cosmo's knocked down. They fall like, gravity, no!
But then again, if the Chaos Emeralds could immediately float away in space, the vacuumless space, then why was Cosmo climbing? And I guess she could have been able to just float up.
Yeah.
Guess we're not supposed to think about it, as usual.
Maybe
Either that or she's not that smart.
Maybe she had lead weights in her shoes.
Possible, who knows? To be fair, floating in space is a bad idea, even though everyone constantly does it. Every single time it happens, I'm laughing. Especially after seeing like the Pixar Buzz Lightyear movie, where they make such a big deal out of flying it off into space because how deadly and scary it is. Well, on this show, everyone's constantly like, wee, wee! Nobody's terrified of just getting lost into space. They just fly off aimlessly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, flying space go, wee!
They should show Sonic Accident and Girl from Buzz Lightyear. So it'll be the most biggest horror movie of our life, this one. But yeah, that was episode 77, I guess.
Yeah. Well, might as well just have a small little look at Luke's drawing that he's done for this particular episode.
Sure.
Oh
Dick
yeah,
is
I
your
remember.
tails.
Yeah, I remember he suggested that I should do that for the thumbnail. And it's like, I'm not really vibing with the idea. And besides, I already had something else in mind with just the Tails and Cosmo. You know, something simple.
Even drawing like a Kirby instead of the Cosmo tree. Okay. Because they look so happy and dirty there.
Yeah, like, shoot me, Tails, shoot me. And I'm like, nah.
Would have been funny if we just drew a Cosmo just standing there with a big smile on their face. Yeah, shoot me, Tails. To make it even more creepy.
No, I
and dark.
can't. I can't, Cosmo. I'm a hippie.
Even Tails sees that smile in his nightmare. It's like, please shoot me, Tails. Please shoot me.
Oh my god! Oh, you just made it so much darker.
Yeah, no kidding. Like, yeah, Tails never had a good night's sleep because he's always constantly dreaming of Cosmo's suicide.
Because quite literally, like, up on the top. And I was like, please shoot me, Tails. And that's how Tails looks. Like, at night, he just can't sleep. He's like, every time I close my eyes, I just see that smile and her say, please shoot me, Tails. Please shoot me. And I'm like, nah, I don't feel like it. The snooker's on.
And this is why the tree from Kirby games causes Tails to trigger his PTSD.
Well, shall we just bother Ian Flynn if he can write in a Cosmo reference in next Sonic game? I mean, if they can make a reference to Styx the Badger, then why can't they make Sonic X canon as well? Or you just talk with
He's
Tails.
been trying, apparently.
Like you
like how
talk
he's
to,
been
to Tails in the overworld, and he's like, "Oh, I can't sleep for nights. I still see Cosmo in my nightmares."
Yeah. Apparently he's been trying to find some way to bring back Cosmo, like how he's been trying to push to get bring back Sally or make Styx make a physical appearance again. But yeah, but knowing Sega, that probably won't happen.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Although
then
that
again,
when there's like some games have a lot of reference. I mean, the Minecraft game did had Tails Workshop, right? There were a lot of references in there. Was there a reference to Cosmo? I mean, they could have just put a plant in there somewhere. Wouldn't be
yeah, but
surprised.
that references more into the next episode.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know about the Minecraft thing, but they did show her in both Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood and in a recent bit of Sonic Channel artwork.
Whoa! Oh, there you go now.
Mm-hmm.
And I shared the Sonic Channel artwork in the live chat. If you want to show that.
I'll check it out. Oh, there's a recent one too.
Oh, yeah.
But hey, those are very close to canon, right?
Yes. Kind of.
Because one of the channel art is about to get a reference in the next Sonic Frontiers DLC, wasn't it? That Sage got her shoes.
Right, yeah.
So that means these are canon, I guess. Because there was one Sonic Channel artwork where you saw Robotnik make shoes for Sage. In his
Everything is
cyberspace.
canon.
Yeah, I guess so.
Everything is canon.
I fucking hate that statement. At this point, I stopped caring about the quote-unquote canon of the games. Because at this point in time, the games just need a full-on hard reboot. You know, just scrap everything, start from scratch, and keep it consistent this time.
Exactly. Start from scratching rounder.
Huh.
Yeah.
Speaking of stupid references. But yeah, I guess I spoiled something of episode 78, even though pretty much everyone already knows, I think.
Yeah. Damn you, Roger.
and you guys complained about me about spoiling that woman in Fleetway Sonic.
Did we?
Oh, yeah, it was quite a while back when I was like, oh, story synopsis, like the story and blah, blah, blah. And you were like, oh, you ruined the twist, because I kind of structured the word differently when talking
All
about
right.
the story.
Well, if you ruin our jokes, then that's a different story. But yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone already knew what's going to happen with Cosmo, even without seeing Season 3 or knew where it was going. But yeah, I guess we move on to episode 78, or is there something left to be said about 77?
Well, now that I think about it, I don't think we never really brought up the scene in the beginning with Cosmo's other species.
Sure. What do you want to say about it? Because I'm not sure what to say about it.
I don't know. I can't say much. Like, they nice. I think in the Japanese version they go a little more in depth. Like, oh, Cosmo is like the last of our kind or something because like the others like didn't survive. She's like the only surviving member. I think in the English dub they removed that bit of detail, but I can't remember.
Of course,
that's why I called her. That's why I called her Cedrian Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she was a miraculous birth.
Yeah, or maybe the tree lady just got real friendly with the local space milkman.
Wait, she was a miraculous birth, and she died for our sins. Oh my God!
And she's get resurrected, although taking a little bit longer than 3 days, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the only thing that's missing is like a cross or something on her his emblem.
Well, doesn't she have a
just
bit of
T-posing.
a T-posing before she dies? Would be fitting.
Oh yeah, that does kind of. True.
Oh no!
Yeah, it is screenshots.
Oh,
she has almost like a
Oh
T-pose.
no! It's just getting more and more valid.
Yeah. Crucify me, Tails.
Yeah. Well, granted, it's more like a peace
that's
sign than
terrible.
anything.
Wouldn't that make it better with the Jesus story if Jesus hangs on a cross and then he has to ask his girlfriend to shoot him with a gun?
Oh god.
Don't really recall hearing that in the Bible or where Jesus
Yeah.
was demanding his girlfriend just to shoot him.
Like maybe that's from the New Testament.
The Sonic X Testament.
The revised
Testament X.
The Sonic X Bible.
There you go.
Ah.
With apologies for our whoever's believer.
Yeah, our apologies to any Christians watching this stream. Yeah.
Well, the die-hard ones anyway.
I'm sure
Oh, yeah,
most
the
of
ones
them have a
going
sense
around.
of humor.
Yeah, the ones going around burning Harry Potter books and all that.
Exactly.
They're the less fun ones.
Maybe they're burning them because
I
they don't
need-
like them.
I need to clarify something for someone in chat. Godfruff, I did not call her Green Jesus. I called her Cedrian Jesus.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thrall can still be Green Jesus all he wants.
Yeah. She got a green thumb. Ho ho.
Yes, indeed. So, the grand finale, the final episode,
Ah, yes, the very last episode of the series.
where all of a sudden we get to see a lot of things I wanted to see before. But yeah, anyone wants to do a synopsis?
Oh God.
Oh, that's gonna be a hard one, knowing how they've handled it in versions.
Yeah.
Okay, one does the synopsis in the Japanese version, one of the American one. Okay,
No, it's the same episode, just in different orders.
Yeah. Like,
For once, I think 4Kids improved it by making it more coherent. Everything happens chronologically.
that helps, yes.
Where in the original, it's just like, oh, they start off back home, and then just in the middle of the episode, let's cut back to the end of the battle.
They were just big fans of Christopher Nolan, okay?
yeah, well, I guess in some ways the Japanese version is a little better-ish of like more the whole building stuff, because of course all of that got well, you know.
Right, so, and I guess I'll do it then. So we start, suddenly, I'm doing the Japanese version, so Melteme can talk about the American version. So after
Bastard.
Cosmo's been died, we just instantly cut to the ending. We're back in Sonic's planet. We actually see towns for once. I wanted to see those, but we just got a little
Hallelujah.
glimpse. Then we see, we go back to the detective's office, where they just have this funny sign of, oh, we went to space, sorry. It kind of amused me. And apparently Charmy sleeps in the lockers. Poor guy, must be uncomfortable. Then again, maybe just punching him there deliberately as punishment. But yeah, Vanilla comes around to pay them with cakes, and apparently they were starving because rebuilding their detective house is so expensive they couldn't buy any food. And SPO is a very creepy face. But yeah, so they're all... Vector's all flirting with Vanilla as usual. Well, Cream and Amy also bake cake, because it's cakes for everyone. Meanwhile, Chris actually has a very fun, interesting talk with Knuckles. It's kind of interesting to see Knuckles kind of relax and just having a chill conversation about things. He kind of talks about what it's like to live all alone on the floating island and his belief that Master Emerald needs to rest and will eventually build itself again. They even have a weird conversation about like logistics of Chris wondering how he should get a house here. Does he need permission of the government and all that? I kind of like that. Like, hey, we get a little bit of insight on how Mobius works. Because so far it's been completely ignored how this universe works. We barely get to see any of it. So I'm kind of like, why couldn't the whole series be like this? Meanwhile, we still don't know where Rouge lives. For some reason, all the Sonic series refuses to have Rouge live somewhere. So he's still hanging around in Dr. Eggman's base for some reason. Where we get
it's obvious. Well, it's obvious, Roger. She lives in the Batcave.
She lives in a palm tree in Green Hill Zone, obviously. But yeah, we get a little bit of foreshadowing that something happened with Shadow, but we don't know what yet. So indeed, it feels kind of off to do it like this. But oh well. Meanwhile, we see Amy and Cream go to Till's laboratory in Mobius. Is this the first time we see it? I'm not quite sure. Because it looks pretty cool. It's like this big, awesome laboratory in the beach. Dr. Eggman talks about Shadow. He's still talking to Rouge. I forgot about it. Going bad order. And we finally get to see why Sonic Hero said he's a womanizer, because all of a sudden he's too Rouge. Like, hey, you have big boobs. With a big smile on his face, which makes me laugh. I'm sure 4Kids cut that part.
Oh, yes, they cut that out.
They sure did, yep.
What a shame, and he immediately gets punched in the face for it. I guess he did that just to distract the conversation because he didn't want to talk about Shadow too much. I did kind of like how he's still talking about Shadow in the perspective of his grandfather. So I don't remember the games really doing that much with it anymore. So that's kind of cool. He still sees Shadow as part of his own legacy. I like that connection. Anyway, so we see a bunch of shots of all the characters enjoying their time. Well, all of a sudden we cut back to the final out of nowhere. Boom! Cosmo! Tills is shocked because he just killed Cosmo. So, like you guys said, a bit weird chronologically speaking. So we're suddenly finally back to the finale again, where we get to see Dark Oak looking very sad and pathetic in the light. Which kind of made me laugh, like how pathetic I have found the bad guys this whole season. And then the final shot of him is kind of sad looking in the void. Like, But yeah, then he gets...
I'm excited to talk about this particular scene if I can.
Oh, yeah.
Right now?
Yes.
Okay,
right now. So, it's a very, well done scene in the original Japanese. It's just Lucas standing in the void, and Galaxia, offers her hand, and he, accepts it and turns into light. In the 4Kids dub, they thought, it's not self-explanatory enough. We gotta add dialogue.
Oh, yeah, so much dialogue in that freaking scene.
So they just have Lucas standing there like, shit, maybe I was evil. Galaxia's like, nah, you chill, fam, come here. And he just disappeared again. There's so much dialogue for no reason.
It really does. It really feels like it really changes the whole bit there with the Japanese dub. It's like, oh, quiet moment, and then he accepts his death and goes off into the afterlife. And then the English dub, it's like, oh, blah 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 blah, how's it going? Oh, I'm depressed. Oh, let's go and get some pizza. Okay.
Did they make new footage then? Because the Japanese version didn't last that long. So it just...
No, it's just dubbed over.
Yep.
They have to talk very fast and just turn it to Speed Racer.
It's slower than you think it is.
Yeah, because they don't move their mouths, so of course they can just repeat the same shots to make it feel like, oh, it's lasting longer, but not really.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, this only reminds me, Lucas never really talks during the final battle anymore. Like when the bad guy is defeated, you never hear his thoughts. You just see purely from the perspective of Cosmo, which is also kind of interesting because it makes it look like Cosmo literally is the final boss.
Well, funny you mentioned that because he actually does have a scene of talking. Yeah.
In an American version, I suppose. Well, because I was kind of talking about the last episode when the final shot is taken. Then you never really hear Dark Oak talk anymore. You never see his opinion about Cosmo merging with him. He has no reaction about that whatsoever. I find it kind of weird. But I guess there's already too much happening. Anyway, meanwhile, we get to see Tills having another last goodbye, which feels kind of redundant. But the first one, they're all super happy, and this one, they're kind of sad. Which, again, very striking visuals. It's really depressing seeing Tills all huddled up like that. So I'm sure Tills fans have their hearts broken.
Then just want to give that Flippy boy a hug, yeah.
Exactly. Then, another scene that I hope 4Kids improved the timing of, because in the Japanese version it was very confusing to me. All of a sudden, Sonic and Shadow do a funky dance in space and scream, "Regeneration!" Even though I have no idea what or why, because nothing set it up. And right at that moment, there's something horribly happen. All the planet axes are about to explode, which almost makes it feel like Sonic and Shadow caused this. And then while all this drama and excitement is happening, we just cut to Dr. Eggman making stupid jokes. Like, "Oh, look how cool I am. We're in trouble." So I'm like, I'm having a bit of a good mood whiplash here. But anyway, Shadow punches Sonic in the face because we didn't have enough suicide yet, so he commits suicide again.
In the stomach, yeah.
You were...
I was saying, like, technically you punched him in the stomach, but yeah.
Oh, so what did I say?
You said punch him in the face.
Oh, did I? Sorry. That's stupid.
You fail, Roger. Go back to anatomy class.
Well, it's either that or you assume that the head is in the stomach.
Nah, I'm just an idiot.
Yeah. Oh man, this freaking bit with Shadow, it feels like it comes off so different in the English dub with how his line is delivered there. So...
But yeah, go ahead.
I might as well quickly ramble on about this. So Shadow does the bit where he punches Sonic, and in the Japanese version, he's like, "Oh, your Chaos Control is weak. I'll handle this." So he takes off his inhibitor rings and does the whole Chaos Control maximum. But in the English dub, they changed the lines a bit, and it really comes off as Shadow is like, he punches Sonic, and he's like, "You're weak. Now I'm taking over the show." Ha ha. It's so weird. It's baffling. Like, what the hell, Shadow?
Hold on.
But yeah, it kind of feels forced, but then again, Shadow didn't really have a purpose in the finale, so I guess, we have him commit suicide again. We're just doing Sonic Adventure 2 over again. But we already redid you have to feel pity for people in the world.
Yeah.
So I guess we're doing Shadow committing suicide again. Hooray! But yeah, yet again, I'm kind of surprised how the other characters are commentating on this. Like, he used Chaos Control even though he didn't have much strength left. Like, how do you know that? Where do you get all this information from? I guess it's just a scriptwriter telling us directly.
Yeah, meanwhile, Shadow's like, it's just a flesh wound.
Exactly.
Okay. So, I rewatched that little bit. What Shadow said is, "Sorry, friend, but I'm taking over. After all, we wouldn't want you to hurt yourself."
Yeah, I mean, like, the way he delivers it kind of feels like a very villainous line to say it.
Especially because he says it right after punching Sonic in the stomach.
Yeah.
It feels ironic. We don't want you to get hurt, do we?
We didn't want you to hurt yourself. That's why I'm doing it.
Exactly, yes.
Now it's time for Shadow X. Haha.
Wonderful. But yeah, and then we get another weird scene where Sonic all of a sudden just comes out of the dark and walks menacingly towards Tails. So Tails is all like, "Oh, Sonic!" It's like, what the heck is happening? Is Sonic gonna kill Tails now all of a sudden? What the hell is happening? Like, that was really weird, tonally animated.
Yeah, now all we need is Friday the 13th music playing here.
So, like I said before, if I was making a parody or like one of those abridged episodes, I would have a field day with it because it feels like such a weird scene all of a sudden. But yeah, Tails has this crying moment where he's still crying about Cosmo, of course. Poor guy. And giving Sonic all the pressure. Like, "I thought you were going to save her. You loser. You worthless hero."
Yeah, which of course was greatly toned down in the US dub, yeah.
Of course, a little too heavy.
Yeah, especially with that added line in the US dub where when Sonic gives him the seed and Tails reacts like, "Oh, you got a seed? You found a seed?" And the way he says it comes off like, "What? You found a seed? I wanted a cheeseburger, damn it! You suck, Sonic." This fucking voice directing, man.
Oh, that sounds terrible. Because that ruins
it really is.
As if they know what the meaning of that is. Like in the Japanese version, like, this is all that's left over. So you immediately get context. They're like, "Hey, I found a seed. Oh, yay, a seed." Like, okay.
I got a rock.
There we go.
Check out this rock I found.
Yeah, your girlfriend is dead, so here's a rock instead.
A rock from space.
Maybe it's the final boss of the Sonic game one day.
Yo, check it out! It's Black Narcissus's tooth.
No, hey, it's even better. It's actually the remains of Red Pine.
Oh, God.
Well, hey, last time we get to make any Red Pine jokes.
Yep.
Oh, that would be funny if Tails has Cosmo Planet in a pot, but then Red Pine grows out of it.
This entire time, everyone's like, "Oh, look, it's Cosmo in the plant pot," and then it grows up and it's Red Pine. That would be the ultimate irony. Oh my god.
Oh god.
Oh, we broke Melting Man again.
And that's how Sonic X ends. The resurrection of Red Pine. 10 out of 10.
Don't worry, Tails. I want to be your boyfriend too.
Well, hey, now Tails can go both ways.
There you go.
Oh.
Oh my.
The series ends with the promise that Red Pine takes over the universe.
Yeah, watch out for Red Pine X. Yeah.
Everyone's favorite character of the show.
Oh god, we're having way too much fun with this.
Yeah.
Poor Sonic X tries to be so dramatic at his ending, and we're just laughing at everything. Speaking of, what I also found interesting is then you see all those comets flying by, and they're looking at us like, oh, they're all Planet X, which kind of surprised me because I didn't know there were that many planets involved. But yeah, it's a very dramatic moment, and then they just go straight back to Robotnik breaking the fourth wall, like, oh, I'm cool. It's like, wow, this show really doesn't know how to build a tone suddenly.
Yeah, well, if it makes you feel better, the English dub kind of fixes that, where instead it kind of goes more in character with Robotnik, and it's like, oh, the Planet Eggs are going back to their home now. Hey, you guys should take a picture of me! We used up all the batteries in the camera for the Blue Typhoon.
Alright. But now, back to our really favorite character, more cooler than Red Pine, Chris Thorndike. After his talk with Knuckles, he walks down the path. All of a sudden, he gets a letter from Robotnik. Meanwhile, we go back to Sonic, who's having a talk with a tree, where apparently Dark Oak's voice comes from, and he's evil yet again. So that was kind of confusing. And we get yet again the wonderful philosophies of Sonic X, where he's like, "Oh, you animals are evil. You destroy trees, and therefore we destroy you. And when I come back, I'll destroy you all." And the Sonic is like, but I want to walk with my feet. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I don't get it. Is this supposed to be deep? This is dumb.
Yeah, it's like, human, plants and everything, they still destroy, animals and stuff, they still destroy plants and whatnot. We will one day return. You think you will still stop us? It's like, yeah, but I just want to keep running. It's like, what? That's your answer? Yeah.
That's Sonic and his philosophy, yeah.
Oh, man, this scene, yes. This is definitely another huge change.
Yeah. So, Roger, in case you were wondering how they dubbed this scene, how Sonic, they handled Dark Oak threatening Sonic from the afterlife, they didn't. They instead replaced him with Cosmo.
Uh-huh.
Just saying, hey, could you, say goodbye to everyone for me?
Oh,
Sonic's
really?
like, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I mean, I guess it makes more sense than Dark Oak suddenly being evil again, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like, Japanese version's Dark Pine, English dub is Cosmo, and, I don't know, perhaps in the Russian dub, it's actually Red Pine! Hi, Sonic, I'm back! Like, oh, okay.
Now imagine Red Pine just being the guy from Austin Powers when he fell into the trap and still lives. Like, oh, I'm still alive, but I'm in pain in this black hole. Can someone get me out of here? I'm just on the other side of the galaxy. Please come by. But yeah, serious talk for a moment. For this whole scene, the big conflict is between animals and plants, yet I don't think they ever established or explored this. Like, what exactly is the problem? Because they always show Sonic and friends being in harmony with plants. I mean, here is Sonic laying under a tree, so it's really not established. Like, if this is the main conflict of the whole thing, how animals and plants live together,
It's because obviously they build things out of wood and eat vegetables and stuff.
Yeah, I know there's a little bits of that, but they could really explore this way further. And
Yeah.
because the series does have that with Dr. Eggman, that he destroys everything and turns everything to factory. So I don't know. I wish they kind of went deeper into that or actually explored that, but they didn't really. It just comes across like, oh, you hurt some plants, and now everyone must die. And Sonic's response is just, yeah, but I like running. It's like this is the whole philosophy where this entire show is built on. This is the big message you want to give us at the end. It's like, okay. I mean, I'm kind of comparing this with Lion King, that also had something with the circle of life, the connection between animals, like. Why are antelopes like subservient to lions? Because lions die and they turn into grass, so then the antelopes eat grass. Like that has like a little bit more going on how animals and plants interact with each other. Well, this show doesn't really have anything. It's just like, oh, animals and plants can't live together. Like, I mean, look at Sonic's World; it looks perfectly fine. I don't know what the problem is. It feels kind of weak to build your entire show on that premise.
Yeah.
They really should have explored that more. Beyond, yeah, but I run, so therefore something. Like, okay, great philosophy. I always love it when Sonic does philosophy. That's why Black Knight is also so funny.
I guess his is kind of more of a keep moving forward kind of message, I guess.
Yeah, but it doesn't really answer the bigger question, but whatever. I guess it's just Sonic. Sonic should be a teacher in philosophy. His response to everything is just run. It's the nature of good and evil. Just run. Like, okay. Whee!
And that's why everyone in his class fails.
Yeah, you fail, Sonic. Go back to Sonic Schoolhouse.
But right, I'm not finished yet. So, Chris comes back to Dr. Eggman and his evil robots, and they just immediately tell Chris to hurry the fuck up. Because, I love they don't even explain, so all of a sudden they're in a hurry. For like, oh, you have to leave in 3 minutes because I guess the show was only 3 minutes left. I'm kind of surprised it didn't break the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess they eventually say something about that the planets are realigning, but they say that later. But at first, it really comes out of nowhere. But yeah, so all of a sudden they're in a super hurry, even though the whole episode was kind of quiet, and I kind of like the whole quiet pace. But yeah, Chris needs to get out of here immediately.
I guess they're just trying to be all like the hammy villains. It's like, oh, you missed going 3 minutes. It means you'll have no time to say goodbye to your friends. Ha ha ha. And Chris is like, oh, okay. Like, wait, what? You're not surprised by it? What the hell's wrong with you, kid?
But this is so weird because it's so close to breaking the fourth wall, especially when Eggman later has a conversation about Destiny. It's like, oh, well, it's Destiny that you have to go. And it was Destiny that made me revive Shadow, and it was Destiny that this happened, or Destiny, like, are you just breaking the fourth wall? You might as well say the scriptwriters did it at this point. It's like, since when is Dr. Eggman such a Destiny guy anyway? That he believes in Destiny.
This is my destiny.
Exactly, so it feels really rushed and weird. But hey, we're getting rid of Chris, so I guess we're fine with it. But yeah, Chris is sad. He never says goodbye to anyone, which means the last character I ever talked to was Knuckles, weirdly enough. Although Sonic does see him fly around the spaceship. I mean, I guess because Cosmo told him. I mean, I guess that it's better than the Japanese version that didn't have any build up to it. And then, yeah, we see all the main character for the last time. So we say goodbye to the real characters we never see again, we care about, the robots, Deacon Bukon.
Well, what do you mean, Deacon Bukon the best? Yeah.
Exactly. I love the fact that even we get to see like the goodbyes of all the main characters, but they all look pissed off. Like Cream is like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill Robotnik." It's like, oh, that is a picture where you end on her, not her cute eating cake or being with her mom. It's like, no, it's her being pissed off. Like, oh, that deck man, I'm gonna kill him. And that's where we leave off.
Oh yeah, and it also gives us the big reveal that's been kept in secrecy for so long.
Oh yeah, the rouge, the secret rouge has on the little robot whose name.
Yeah, so like the pendant, like halfway through season 3, Rouge is like blackmailing Bo Koon to like help her out and whatnot, because she's holding like a pendant that he apparently owns. And what's in that pendant? Well, it turns out in this episode, well, Japanese version, it turns out inside that pendant is a picture of Cream the Rabbit.
Ah, he has a crush. How dare! And now Melting Man hates a robot because Cream is his baby, isn't she?
well, I mean, I guess I wouldn't be too surprised. I mean, this is the same Japanese series where Cream was hitting on the baseball bat, so.
There you go. Robots love themselves some bunny action.
I just wanted to say real quick the point Roger made about the The last we saw of all of these characters, they were mad. The 4Kids dub actually changed that so that it was happier memories.
Oh, okay.
So like instead of like, oh, he left, what jerk, blah blah blah. But yeah, in the English dub, it's like, oh, I wonder what he just left. Oh, I'm gonna miss him. Like, oh, I hope he's okay, and that kind of thing.
I wasn't talking about that because that played in Chris's head. That was not the real goodbyes. I mean, at the end, you see them react to the fact that Dr. Eggman is doing something again. That's why they're pissed off. I mean, you do hear them being angry at Chris, but that just happens in Chris's imagination, so I'm not sure if we're supposed to take that as canon.
Yeah. Well, I think it's even more weirder. Well, I think it's more weirder in the English dub, because instead of, like, redubbing those particular scenes, all they did was just recycle past scenes from past episodes and just dub them over with new lines.
That was kind of weird, yeah. Oh, well. But yeah, and then we get even more final reveals. Apparently Shadow's still alive, and on Molly's planet, I suppose.
Yeah, paying her a visit to her
So
grave.
yet again, they kill him off just to immediately revive him again. And of course, as we already talked about, Cosmo the plant, or Red Pine. We'll see.
And then we have the deleted scene where Chris is flying by, and then his ship blows up. All thanks to Ewan.
Of course, for some reason they took that out.
The massive explosion, and Chris's entire body just scatters all over the place in a shower of blood, and the peasants rejoice.
Don't do that, because then his wife is sad. Poor Helen.
Helen deserved better.
Exactly.
There you go.
Especially considering how Chris didn't even take the time to say goodbye to them. He just wrote a letter saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to Sonic's World. See ya."
Yeah, he's really an asshole to them. We don't even get to see their reaction to him returning.
So yeah, that was just a fun idea. With like, okay, we're gonna do these the last couple of episodes. Okay, I know just what to do for the image of the very last episode, and showing off Ewan with his wonderful, awful idea. Yeah.
You are so evil.
Yeah, exactly. It works.
With the big Grinch smile.
Yeah, you can clearly tell where all the effort went into that particular thumbnail.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sala, apparently the 4Kids version also changed the plant pot. Jeez. In the version. So they
For
added
seemingly no reason.
I think it's because the Japanese version kind of looks like a coffee cup.
Yeah. I made the joke that, like, they had to add lace to it so that you know that it's a girl plant.
A little Minnie Mouse bow on it.
But at the same time, if it's supposed to be a girl, then hey, maybe it really is Red Pine and he's just transgender. Or
That'd be funny if it's just like a whole female bot.
Went through a sex change when he rebirthed.
We're giving more lore to Red Pine in this discussion than he had in the whole show.
He really should be feeling honored that we're keeping his memory alive, even though.
Yeah.
But yeah, that concludes the anime. Man, that's gonna be weird. Ever since we started this stream, we talked about it. Well, not every episode, but from the first episode, and now it's over. It feels weird.
Yeah, it's all over.
End of an era.
So I guess we're gonna have our final thoughts. I was kind of looking at pictures, and I remember the one on the left. That was like the first review poster, wasn't it? Like where you see Sonic and Knuckles running in space. Because that poster looks more resembling Season 3 than the first two seasons. So it's kind of weird that was the teaser all the way from the beginning. Because this looks like it fits way better with Season 3 than the first two seasons. Especially how prominent Shadow is, even though he barely shows up in the first two seasons. But yeah, Melting Man, final thoughts on Sonic X as a whole. Except for the comics.
Yeah, the comics are for another time, yeah. Alright, so, yeah, Sonic X, it was quite interesting marathon this show. Like, at first I didn't join in at first. I was still kind of new to the whole live streaming stuff from, like, way back then. And, and then eventually when we got to the baseball episode, like, I actually like this episode. And there's some fun things to talk about with the US and Japanese versions. And then eventually I decided, okay, let's go fall and let's, enjoy going through the entire series, or at least the rest of it. And, I liked it. It's, the way I've done it is that I watched both the English and Japanese versions on Hulu, which of course, they're nice, even if there's the obvious change where in the Hulu version all the text is removed in the Japanese version. But going through both versions, I'll be honest, it can be a bit draining when sometimes having to go back to back or pointing out details and whatnot. But even so, it does. Well, I've always talked, Japanese version is better, blah 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 blah. But this marathon has sort of changed my mind a bit on the English dub. Like, okay, there are certain scenes in the US dub that actually work better in here and there and that and that. So yeah, I have a little more respect to the US dub now. But fuck, gotta go fast. Sonic Drive all the way, baby.
That's true. That's true. Sala, your thoughts. Final closing thoughts.
My closing thoughts are that I have always loved the show. I see it now in a more critical light, but overall, it is still a fantastic series. I think it's probably the best Sonic show, in my opinion.
Fair enough. I can totally see that.
Checking the chat to make sure no one says otherwise.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the better ones, yeah.
And this is my first time watching the Japanese version, at least for season 3. I didn't watch it for seasons 1 or 2. But I've always been biased towards the 4Kids dub just because I love the 4Kids cast so much. But so I would always defend any minor changes that they'd make. But after watching both of them side by side, there are definitely times where the 4Kids definitively made something worse.
Sure.
So,
but I gotta say, for the 4Kids version, their dialogue flows way better. Sometimes the Japanese feels very stiff and awkward.
there are definitely things I do prefer in the 4Kids dub. So sure. I'm still glad it exists.
They both have their values, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the series in a new light thanks to this retrospective.
Hooray!
Huzzah!
I think Luke also had some final thoughts, but before I go there, Ewan, do you want to do something? Yeah.
I suppose I might as well just say, much like Melting Man, trying to watch them back to back is a slog. That's just how I felt about it altogether. Because, I had to just watch it just so at least I understood what the heck was going on when you guys were talking about it. And yet, even then, it's every time I watched it, I'm 5 minutes into the first of 3 episodes, I'm oh god, I want to watch something else at the moment. This is draining me, sort of thing. But the only time I actually felt god damn, I want to watch the next episode was basically the second to last few episodes, because that's when it kind of actually got me more interested. And when I was finished with the last few episodes, I was just god damn, I wish there was a bit more. But I'm not saying I'm not saying I full on hate it, anything like that. Just gotta watch it in moderation, I suppose is the best way of describing it. Just watch just the odd one episode, and then just then move on and do something else, and then come back to it later on, type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Now let's see what Luke has to say, and then I'll have my final thoughts. I have to search for it for a bit.
As if I'll miss Chris.
Probably not, no.
Okay, here are my thoughts on the final episode. Kinda feel sorry that Charmy is being made to sleep in a locker, or he goes in there to make honey or something. I do like the shipping between Vanilla and Vector here. I can see him become a great stepdad for Cream. Also, it's easier to build a home in Sonic's world as you don't have to worry about mortgages, bills, insurance and taxes. Man, I want to go there. Don't know what the Wi-Fi is like though, and there needs to be an Aldi's nearby. What's interesting about this ep is that in the 4Kids dub, Eggman names Professor Gerald as Dr. Robotnik, as is one of the few times we hear Mike Pollock mention that name. But it creates confusion as it might make people think that the Dr. Robotnik from the classic games is Professor Gerald like they are separate people. And then Eggman sexually harasses Rouge. I wouldn't blame him as he likes to put huge tits on his robots. Too bad the slap was off screen and we didn't get to hear it. Lucas gets forgiven? Even though he killed thousands? He didn't get a proper redemption arc and he gets to go to heaven? He does not deserve this. Here she's Even though you were a mass murderer and destroyed planets, you are free to come with me. Such bullshit, man. I do like the emotional scene with them all trying to cope with Cosmo's death. That bit with Shadow punching Sonic out of nowhere was pretty hilarious. And man, that scene with Tails receiving a seed from Sonic has a lot of feels. It seems Lucas Darkoak has been reborn as a tree on Sonic's world where he can't do anything. A fitting punishment. And I do like how Eggman wants Chris to fuck off back to Earth that badly and refuses to let Chris say goodbye to everyone. And very nice subversion that we get Chris calmly accepting to go home without any whining like in Series 1. And Bokun's crush is Cream. What a nice reveal. All in all, quite a nice ending to an anime adaptation of Sonic. I really couldn't get into this series when it first aired on CITV in the UK due to all the humans having more focus than the Sonic characters, Eggman being portrayed as a jokey villain with his slot machine, and Chris Thorndike being an insufferable, annoying psychic character who wants to marry his wife who's Sonic. But I do like how in the Meta-X saga, he was a token human character with minor screen time and acts more in a sensible and mature way. Even Eggman treats him as some sort of son. I've rather enjoyed the Meta-X saga as it feels more like what a Sonic anime should be, with an epic sci-fi plot and very dramatic and emotional scenes. What I also liked about this series is that we got more accurate versions of Sonic characters than the Dick Sonic cartoons from the 90s, Robotnik looking like how he looks in the games, and Sonic characters making their first appearances in a Sonic cartoon like Cream, Amy, Big, the Chaotix, Rude and Shadow. I think for me, when watching Sonic X, I would stick with the adaptations of Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 and the Meta-X saga, which is one emotional roller coaster. So that's all from me. I'll catch you guys later. Cheerio!
Cheerio, look. To the next stream, hopefully.
And I always say goodbye to Metal Luke. Until the next time, maybe.
Who knows? Maybe we'll need him again, yes. Yeah, my final thoughts. Jeez. Well, it was way better than I remembered. I was worried when I came into it. It's very episodic. Like every episode, the other characters are completely useless. And Sonic jumps in and saves the day in 5 seconds. But it was a lot more variety. Unlike Luke, I think there are a lot of filler episodes that are pretty great too. I love the comedy focus episodes, like the baseball one or the one with Sonic on the ship and all that. That's great. I'm kind of surprised how little focus there is on Sonic himself. Like almost all characters have a couple episodes about their psyche and what they want in their life. Sonic never really had one. I think the closest episode we got to really exploring what Sonic's about is the Moon Saga, where there was this whole weird plot that Sonic refuses to communicate with anyone, and everyone thought was a terrorist. I thought it was kind of interesting take on Sonic, because he's always such a loner, but then the show never really deeply went into it. It's a show that has a lot of potential, but it's written very weird. It's always like slightly off. The show kind of gives me weird feelings sometimes, where there's almost like a good story, but it's like the Japanese writer always focuses on something else or try to make something very poetic or more symbolic rather than really exploring something. And it's kind of frustrating. I think there's a very strong cultural friction going on. And, of course, that's where the 4-Kids version comes in. That kind of fixes it. And very often the 4-Kids version feels a lot more smooth and makes more sense. The characters talk more the way how I think. So I guess it's really a Western versus Eastern way of thinking. But yeah, of course, they're working with a basis that wasn't written that way, so they can't really do all that much. And of course, the 4-Kid version has its own problems because it's cutting away all the sadness and the more dramatic parts. So yeah, it's always kind of choosing between two weird halves. Yeah, a lot of potential. That's very weird execution. That's why it's very ripe for parodies, I guess. Too bad I'm slow and busy these days. Otherwise, I would have a lot of fun with this show. Yeah, I never really gave it its proper due back in the day, so but now I did. So there you go.
So for all of you that have been complaining about wanting to see Roger do a Sonic X Dissected episode, well, you just got done watching it now.
The biggest Dissected I've done so far, if you count all the streams together. Yeah. Hooray! Yeah, should we make a specific, actual, proper edited Sonic X Dissected? I guess not, huh? Everything has been
Do it.
No! Shut up,
poor
Palpatine.
Roger's still recovering from the whole Sonic Movie 2 Dissected issues.
Exactly.
Maybe in the future.
Yeah, I think we've covered everything we need to cover about Sonic X.
Yeah,
Huh?
I mean, the only thing I can think of is the bit with Shadow looking over Hope's grave and whatnot. Like, yeah, obviously that's removed in the U.S. dub, although they still kind of keep with the whole, oh, do you think Shadow is dead? Like, oh, don't worry, he was built by my grandfather. He'll come back one day. That kind of thing.
Always funny, we kill off a character, just immediately resurrect him again. That was pointless.
Yeah, and then there's another Cliff Notes thing with differences. Yeah, the whole bit with the Chaotix and Amy and Cream delivering food. Yeah, all that gone from the U.S. dub and other minor bits.
Oh, really? That sucks. I like that.
Yeah, the Chaotix only get one tiny cameo in the U.S. dub with the whole like, oh, Charmy's like painting something and Vector's like, hey, and it's kind of interesting. We actually see what he actually drew in the Japanese version, which is just this crudely drawn image of Vanilla and Vector together.
Just looking at that screenshot of like SBO, like having like the eyes on Vanilla,
It's
I
creepy.
was kind of wondering
Oh,
what
yeah.
I was kind of wondering like what that like is he drooling or something? But no, that's just a tree.
Maybe he's trying to show off his SpongeBob impersonation.
Yeah, pretty much. He's trying to steal her away from Vector. No.
Yeah, she is best bun mom after all.
Exactly.
Will you marry me? I am more nimble than Vector is.
I shall treat your daughter in the mushroom in the skills of ninja.
Nice. Ninja Cream. I would love to see like a Yakuza style game. Cream as the main character, why not? Not even as Haruka, but full blown Kiryu.
Yeah, well, I guess Cream of the Kimono in the Mario and Sonic game. I guess that's the closest we'll get to that.
Alas, how tragic. But I guess we have to move on because we have a lot of Sonic Fleetway to go through as well. Thanks, Ewan. That was quite a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I thought might as well do something a little different since it's the end of summer for many of us, so might as well have a look at the Sonic the Comic summer specials.
Yes, explain. What the heck is this? What's going on? Did those comic artists have so much free time on their hands they could do an extra?
No, they just wanted more money.
Oh,
So let's exploit Sonic the best we can with summer specials.
to take along on vacation.
Well, granted, one of them's a summer special, the other two are holiday specials.
They still look summery to me. It's not like they're about Christmas or something. But yeah, I guess we have a bunch of Fleetway to read. But
Loving that one, like the '96 cover where Robotnik's on the roller coaster. He's like, Sonic.
he looks good in a Hawaiian shirt. I love that Sonic has almost the same pose on every single cover. Except on the second one, he doesn't have 1 foot on in front of him.
Yeah, I think the third one's my favorite, just because Robotnik's really rocking that Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, it looks good on him. Yeah. Weird Al Robotnik yick or something. All right, so who wants to do synopsis of Dr. Sun, where we're going to tackle Scientology? Dun dun dun.
God.
Or I should do it, I guess. Why not? Anyway, Sonic is having a lunch break when suddenly a stupid skunk flies in, telling him that his son is missing because he joined Scientology. I mean the Sun sociology something, some sort of cult. And he wants Sonic to take a look at it, but of course Sonic as usual just insults him, like, fuck you and your son, I'm eating my lunch. But then, he's going to be the hero anyway, because, otherwise the comic would be kind of boring, I suppose. So they go to Mystical Cave Zone. I think this is the first time that shows up, even though it doesn't really look properly, because it should be purple instead of brown, but whatever. I'm a nerd. So they have a bunch of fights with a bunch of badniks and a bunch of booby traps, until they finally meet up with the Sun cult, with this nice friendly fellow and a lot of creepy looking cult folks standing around him, who are kind of fondling him. So I don't want to know what's going on over there. But anyway, Sonic takes a look around and is invited to check around what's going on with his cult. And they're all having the latest comic books and playing the latest video games. And all having a great time, hiding away from Robotnik, and they're all being safe. So Sonic is like, okay, cool, let's leave those kids there. Because they're playing video games cooler than doing their homework, or that their parents are worried, who cares about it. But then suddenly he remembers that the cult leader said exactly an egg pun. And that offends Sonic so much that he immediately wants to ravage and rape the poor cult leader. But then, oh, surprise, the one who making an egg pun was Robotnik all along, who has a very big head in this wonderful reveal picture. So it was a Robotnik cult all along. So he immediately attacks Sonic, they run around, they fight, Sonic kicks Eggman out of his little egg mobile and has to fly around with it as if it's Sonic 3, and I love it. I love how Sonic looks like in this stupid little egg pod. But yeah, Sonic pretends he doesn't know how to fly it, doesn't use the brakes, and it crashes into a pillar, making the entire temple collapse and everyone dies. But a couple of the cultists survived and are immediately out of their brainwave, I suppose, and they're like, yay! All the video games broke down, and now we have to go back home and do our homework. Shit. And then they all hated Sonic. The end.
Yeah. But yeah, seeing Sonic in the Eggmobile just obviously makes this more appropriate.
Exactly.
Oh, someone needs to animate that now.
Yeah.
And then a giant Sonic and Tails puppet kidnapped this poor man on this weird picture. With a guy with a red hat having a creepy face. Probably early Trump Make America Great Again hat.
Yeah, with the critter coming in at the first page, which, just a quick clarify, Rod, that's a badger, not a skunk.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And you call yourself a Sonic nerd.
You bring shame upon us all.
How many badger characters are in Sonic?
Well, I know there was one scrapped character from Archie Sonic with, Cortez.
Oh, Styx the badger, derp. Even though she doesn't look like this at all.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting about Styx. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure there's other badger characters, but I can't think of any right now.
So there you go. Even as a Sonic fan, I don't have to know what any badgers are. But as a Weirdo Yankovic fan, I should have known because badgers are important to UHF.
Yeah, badger, 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 mushroom, mushroom.
And of course that song, yes.
Of course.
Which has its 20th anniversary today or something, I heard.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, it has been popping up lately.
Yeah, I've seen a few.
I'm assuming that's the case.
But yeah, any thoughts on this amazing Scientology story, Sonic and the Cult?
Perhaps just the creepiness of the Doctor Son. Just the way that he looks, including the that one panel where it's like, to rescue one of my young recruits.
Yeah, problem hedgehog.
Exactly. That's because that's all I can just imagine him sounding like, just with that face, like, as we negotiate through the traps.
Ooh. Yeah, to join my club now, we must go through a personal meeting.
I think I forgot that page.
It's on the part. Oh wait, maybe you left out the page or something.
Yeah, because it's a two-part story, and the second part doesn't happen until near the end of the comic.
But yeah, it's funny just seeing how the artist had a bit of a hard time trying to draw Robotnik's head, because obviously it's the first time he had to draw him. Which makes me wonder, if originally he drew in the original design, but then realised, oh wait, he's changed designs. I've got to redesign him, and that's the best he could do at such short notice.
I guess so.
Because it does look a bit. It obviously does look pretty goofy.
Yeah, it must have been rough because I imagine back then there wasn't really any official Sonic model sheets to work off of. It's just whatever you could find on magazines or whatnot, and just go off of that.
Yeah.
Yep. And this comic is from 994, so it's still very early in the run of this Fleetway, right?
Well, it's definitely happened after.
Well, at least Amy's already there, so we're already pretty decent way in.
Yeah.
And they have the Kintobor hologram, so I guess it's already a couple chapters in. So he could have just seen previous comic books by this point. Oh well.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm a better artist anyway. I shouldn't be talking.
But I definitely wonder why Amy's got those, seductive-looking eyes. at the start of the comic.
As he finds.
It's just like, I love how Johnny's feet look.
Oh,
is that
now I
Johnny?
gotta see that. Hold on.
It doesn't really show
Yeah.
where those feet come from. Oh yeah, that's
Oh yeah, Johnny has like a very brief cameo there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see it. Like, jeez. No, Amy's developing a feet fetish.
Of course.
Yeah, but I also find like how the panel, like the middle panel on that page, is like you only just see the back of like Sonic and Johnny. It's like, why couldn't you flip it around the other way? And that's to actually see what their reaction, their actual faces are at that point.
That is a
They
sad.
say but apparently it's more important to see how Sonic's spines look from behind.
Very important. I do love the picture of the son though. He looks so derpy. Like, "Huh? The camera.
Yeah, like literally just like right up close to his face.
Yeah, as if his dad has suddenly grabbed the camera out of nowhere. Like, here, son, picture.
Yeah, this is what happens when Papa Smurfs had too many Smurf berries. At least with crack.
Yeah, the cult leader does have a bit of a Papa Smurf look, indeed. Especially with his big cheeks.
Yeah, and yeah, it's revealed like Robotnik is disguised in this. It's kind of funny how he's like bloated into wearing something a little more thinner with that disguise. I guess he must be wearing a corset or something.
Yeah. Or just having to keep holding his breath in for quite a while.
Yeah. Oh, now that I think about it, yeah, he's in that disguise, and we made the Papa Smurf joke, like, oh yeah, he's red and his blue. Oh god, he's turning all the Mobians into Smurfs.
The ultimate nightmare.
The Smurf cult.
Yeah, the Smurf cult.
Also, love how all the cultists have these sleepy eyes as if they're all drugged.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot of scary undertones in this one.
Like,
yeah, he gave them special candy.
Yes, a very special.
As long as he didn't give any Kool-Aid, then.
Oh god.
Well, this is a dark stream, isn't it? Right. Guess we're done with this one. The cultists.
Yeah.
So then they have an interview with Dr. Robotnik, which I thought could be funny, but it was kind of boring, sadly. Oh well.
Oh, I skipped that one, so I didn't read it through.
Well.
But yeah, it's mostly just Robotnik trying to act like everyone loves him, but they don't. Wasn't too funny, alas. Okay, let's go to Robotnik Test Drive. Anyone want to do synopsis?
I call dibs. Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Dang it.
So, sorry, Ewan.
Poor you.
So in this next story, Robotnik is to have a story of his own called Test Drive, and Grimer's showing off this new machine that's like it's kind of like the egg hammer thing in the Genesis games. Like, oh, except he's not pounding things, totem poles. It's just a flying thing with a hammer. It's like, all right, time to go for a test run. Go and bash that statue. Ah, it works. But it's boring. I need a live moving target. Grimer? It's like, oh shit. So Robotnik starts chasing Grimer all over the building. And so, yeah, trying to hit him with the hammer. And then he manages to corner him. It's like, now I have you, Grimer. Now to test out that attack you were talking about. Oh, I wouldn't advise it, so it's still, And then he activates the Mega Move, which the hammer, instead of striking Grimer, hits Robotnik, and it goes right through the flying device. And Grimer's like, are you okay, Master? It's like, oh, I need to lie down, Mommy. I think I've got a headache coming on. And then it ends.
Very interesting art style. This is a new artist, isn't it? He draws very realistic. It's kind of weird to see Grimer as a realistic body proportions. And have a realistic-looking assistant.
Oh yeah, that random scientist guy that Grimer passed. Like, it's so weird. Like, who is this guy? I don't remember there being other scientists in Robotnik's Fortress.
But yeah, definitely like has that British vibe though. For some reason, I don't know why.
Fleetway's very good in being British. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do kind of like how like the artist has drawn like Robotnik looking a bit more sort of like I would say more sadistic, sort of crazy look to him, especially when he like turns to Grimer like, Grimer, you're my target. Like, what? No.
You can very easily use that as a Five Nights at Freddy monster or something. Yeah. You don't want to see that coming out of a dark alleyway.
Oh, yeah, now that I look at some of the panels, some of them actually have Robotnik with white eyes instead of red.
Oh yeah, that's the point. I suppose maybe it was a bit too tricky for them to, for some reason, paint his like red eyes is red for some reason.
Or his
maybe
eyes are
they-
flashing because he's so demonic in this one.
Maybe they just ran out of time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we should say Sal has just left our stream for now. He had something to do, and he probably didn't read the comics. He didn't do his homework. Damn it!
Maybe that's why he left.
The second time he does that thing, it's like, oh, I forgot to read the comics. I got real life stuff.
Yeah, I've got real life stuff. See ya.
Yeah, sorry, Sal. I'm sure those are actually like real life stuff you're
I'm
dealing
sure
with
there
right
is.
now. Yeah.
Also, Raina in the chat mentioned that Sega's official website for Sonic had new character descriptions of the main characters. Did anyone read those? I think someone already told me about them, but I don't remember specifics.
Well, most I haven't really read them, but most I've been hearing is that there's apparently some kind of controversy going on with how Amy was written in bios. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't read them.
Oh right, yeah, they finally made it official that he wasn't really hard in love with Sonic anymore. So that, I guess that personality is now officially shot through the head.
And
I mean-
so apparently they're trying to retcon Amy because, like, Then again, Sega's been real slap happy with retcons these days.
Yeah, Amy hasn't really been like that since Sonic Generations, and even there, well, sad. But well, if they give her a different, better personality instead, that'll be nice. But I wish they were more clear with giving her something to do. Now she's just kind of generic female person. But we'll see. I guess we'll find out in the DLC when she's playable. Anyway, back on topic. This comic, yeah, it's fun if you love crazy face expressions, which we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's short, sweet, and to the point. Best way to describe the Robotnik
Yeah.
story.
And if you had again a new base for Dr. Eggman, now a space. Thing.
Well, I think it's still in the special zone like it was in the earlier issues before he moved to Metropolis.
Yeah, the old fortress before the Metalex took over.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
I didn't recall remembering that. But yeah, fun.
It's so long, Roger.
Shall we move on to the next one?
Sure.
Say poor Grimer. Okay, so the characters also get a profile in this comic. I found Till's kind of interesting because here they explicitly mention he's supposed to be stupid. It's like, oh, he can't really think much and he's not very smart, which is kind of interesting considering where Tills is going as a character in the future. So now smarts is pretty much the only value he has. But yeah, that's as far as Sonic Fleetway is go. And to Fleetway's defense, in a later album, they do mention he becomes smarter as time goes on. So I guess even they noticed that the direction Tails was going. But yeah, to the next proper comic, Attack of the Batniks. You want to do this one?
Yeah, I'll do this one since I did write down like a quick synopsis of the stories just in case.
Fair enough.
So yeah, Tails is on his way to meet up with Sonic at the secret base, but gets ambushed by a squad of flying badniks. Tails realizes he has to use his wits by flying through the woods to smash the badniks too slow to react, then flying into a cave where the badniks smash into walls due to how dark it is. Tails, being boastful about defeating all the badniks, gets caught off guard by the sole surviving badnik that dazes Tails until when Sonic comes in to save him. Sonic says to Tails, like, you could have handled, like, that one badnik with ease, but despite Tails saying, like, oh no, there was more than just one badnik, Sonic, like, Sonic, like, doesn't really believe him. It's like, but I'm serious, Sonic! Like, yeah, whatever.
Poor Tails just doesn't get any respect. But yeah, it's kind of funny that this comic immediately follows the profile where they said Tails is dumb, while this entire comic is about him being smart.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting to me to contradict themselves. But yeah,
But
sort of.
she also ended up bringing back those strange-looking skull head badniks.
Oh yeah, the skull things. Yeah, those things. Yeah.
I love how they look, especially how they're grabby hands. I can, if it's animated, I can see them just weirdly grabbing the air. I'm gonna get you.
And the fact they're always smiling.
They look pretty awesome, yeah. Maybe I should draw them for a Soul Sustancia, my fan
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it's like grabby hands, like, I'm coming to get you, Tails.
Yeah, come here, boy. I just want to floof you.
I want to fluff your tails.
It's part of the cult.
And
Yeah,
of
we
course
keep
that
going
one,
back to that, huh?
yeah, and of course that one pose Tails does when like that badnik fires off a rocket at him. It's like, what?
Yeah, he's T-posing.
Exactly.
It's a video
Like,
game model animation film.
so shocked at life that he basically resorts back to like no pose structure to him. And I ruined the joke by forgetting what I was supposed to say.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh well, T-posing. That's enough for a joke, I suppose. But yeah, simple but sweet. Melting Man, you have something to say?
Not much to say. This is a neat episode where Tails gets to have a spotlight moment of taking out all the almost all the bad Nicks, and does it with first he like manages to make them crash into the woods, and then manages to defeat them in a cave because apparently Tails is nocturnal, and then there's the one bad Nick left, which Sonic knocks him out. And then just kind of ends with that deflating moment. It's like, oh, you couldn't take on one measly badnet pixel brain? Like, no, Sonic, there was like hundreds of them, and I fought them. Like, oh yeah, sure they were. Poor Tails.
This comic really wants you to hate Sonic.
Yeah. Tails is just being all, no respect, I tell you. No respect.
Indeed. So yeah, then there's fan art. I found it kind of funny with this little small, stupid looking Mario trying to fight Sonic. That made me laugh. Streets of Rage, this angry Mario. Like, ah! Make me laugh. Thank you. And of course, Baby Sonic. You have one of those.
It's quite surprising. Quite surprising to see like a little Mario in like fan art in a Sonic comic.
Yeah, man, that's a really pissed off Mario there. Yeah.
And now you see
And
Robotnik and Jill having Mario's outfit.
Yeah.
He was impersonating Mario this whole time, but then he was discovered.
Well, hey, maybe that's the reason why Sonic's always fighting Robotnik, because he's actually Mario.
That explain a lot. Dun dun dun.
Mamma mia!
Mamma mia, hedgehog!
But yeah, I mean, you did miss like one page, but it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's just like that weird one of where that drawing of like Sonic and Tails, like being rather chummy, and yet they're all having like skin-toned like arms and legs. Just like
that again. Man, it seems like that's the only. Yeah, 10 legs. Man, it seems like that only happens in Fleetway Sonic. So I guess that was kind of the comic's common mistake in that series.
Yeah, miscutted limbs.
Oh, they're just big fans of Sonic Boom and keep forgetting it wasn't out yet.
Well, I know the whole blue arms
But it's
thing. That was a
opposite day.
very common coloring error for like comics and other media. And of course, Adventures of Sonic, they had a few shots of that.
But where was the picture? I can't find it.
Well, it's literally just after the Tails story.
Oh, also fan art. Ooh. Yeah, you want to see that on screen? Should we make fun of them?
Yeah, let's point and laugh, kids.
Oh, look, rubbish artwork. Let's all point and laugh. Like random
Don't like
kids
it? Let's bring out the trumpet.
Man, that just kind of makes me curious. Like, makes me wonder if any of these watching this stream now, all grown up and everything.
Well, hopefully they've got like a decent sense of humor. It's like, yeah, I know it was rubbish back then.
Yeah.
Now they're super awesome artists to kick my ass with my
Yeah.
stupid animations.
Exactly. The irony of it all.
It was rubbish, but it was the 90s. It was wild times back then.
Funky times.
Indeed. And hey, we're not making fun of them. We're just having a good time. We're just appreciating the uniqueness of it all.
Yep.
Yep. Uniquely suckage.
Speaking of which, or not, Knuckles also has his own story and his own profile. I'm not sure why I brought up the profile. There wasn't anything interesting in it, I think. But yeah, there's another comic starring Knuckles. Anyone wants to do a synopsis?
Well, I think this is probably his first like actual appearance, but because I failed to get the comic back then, obviously I pretty much didn't realise like he appeared in it until.
It is pretty much a prequel to Sonic 3, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, A bunch of civilians stare, point at the sky. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's floating island. Da, da, da. Where Knuckles is staring at them menacingly, ready to jump down and kill all those evil civilians for pointing to him.
Moss perch!
There we go.
But instead, a comet falls down and explodes on Angel Island, on the ice cap zone. Good, the level is overrated anyway. So Knuckles immediately jumps into a zoom tube, flies off to it, and notices a metal comet where suddenly a robot comes out and invites him in. So Knuckles is like, okay, fine. And he walks in, sees a bunch of scary metal things, and there's a very friendly, nice, charming man waiting for him who is about to warn him for one Sonic the Hedgehog. And I have to agree, Sonic is terrifying. Just look at that scary air balloon next to our comic book. So Knuckles is going to destroy that air balloon. And
exactly.
Happy
it
ending
definitely
for all.
fits. Definitely fits the way he's just looking at the balloon as like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, one creepy panel to the other one with Robotnik and Knuckles. Yeah. Knuckles, help me! I'm stuck and I'm freaking constipated, damn it!
Yeah, Robotnik's really weird. It
Yeah,
looks like he's
yeah.
trapped indeed, even though in the context of the story he shouldn't be. So it's a very
Yeah.
weird pose.
Yeah, I believe that the writer of the Sonic comic also drew this as well, because he always has that very unique sort of like mad style, as I would call it, where
Yeah.
everyone looks like that.
Which one of the artists doesn't have a mad style?
Those weird angular poses, yeah.
But hey, that makes it charming. Gotta love it. But yeah, anything to say about this exciting story?
The
Or
fact
this
that
amazing
Knuckles is
air
purple.
balloon?
Well, it's just a neat little backstory showing how Knuckles and Robotnik first met, which of course led up to the whole story with Knuckles helping out Robotnik in their Sonic 3-ish adaptation. Yeah.
Indeed. Now look at an air balloon, because the basket is hanging underneath Sonic's nets. That looks very awkward.
Yeah,
That looks very wrong.
yeah, it's like,
Well, hey, at
watch
least
out,
Sonic
Sonic's
has, you know-
flying low.
well, then again, Sonic has no dick.
Well, now he does, and it's an air balloon basket, so there you go.
Maybe the basket. Yeah, the basket is his dick. Now we'll know why his name is Woody.
We're making a lot of bad jokes today, just like every day.
We're too exhausted from all the Red Pine jokes, yeah.
Why didn't Red Pine ever show up in Fleetway?
Yeah, best Fleetway character ever, Red Pine.
To be fair, I never drew Red Pine either. I'm guilty as charged. I don't even have an
Yeah.
excuse
Saving
that
it.
Sonic X didn't exist yet. What was that, Ewan?
Now you're saving him for Soul Substantia Part 2.
Of
Oh,
course,
yeah.
he has to be his own boss. He's your
Yeah.
boss.
Or just a
Red-
cutscene, where he just appears like, "Behold the red mighty pine," and then something happens, and he just like goes, "Whoop."
He's immediately
Yes.
sucked into
On
another
the
black
stage.
hole.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe Red Pine's a secret boss you have to unlock with a cheat code.
It really should, yeah.
Red pine is awesome.
He definitely
Oh,
is.
hail Red Pine.
So, next comic strip, Sonic and Holiday Hotspot. Anyone wants to do a synopsis of this one? Melty.
I can do this one. Just gotta pull up the site here. Okay, so, right, Holiday Hotspot. So it starts off as a typical day for Sonic and the gang fighting off badniks and saving the villagers. And then this Rhino guy shows up, like, Sonic, you're like a great hero, whatnot. You deserve a holiday. And it's like, Sonic's like, yeah, not so fair. So I gotta keep myself busy and fighting off Robotnik and whatnot. And Rhino's like, oh, but I insist, Sonic. You're doing so much work for us and all that. So he offers them to take them to Paradise Dome, which is some kind of a simulator device where they see like a beach and it looks and feels real and everything, but it's all powered by solid lights. And everyone's so amazed, and Sonic's like, yeah, well, you do that. I'm going on for... Hold on. Sorry. So, yeah, so everyone's like, oh, it's so real, and Sonic's like, yeah, well, do that. I'm going for a run. There we go. So Sonic's off, and the Freedom Fighters are like, oh, hey, this is fun. Yeah, I bet Sonic was here. Then the sun suddenly starts to get hot because apparently it's the sun from Mario 3 that's causing all of this.
Exactly.
And So Sonic's running, but then he suddenly realizes that during their conversation with the Rhino, he had called him the Spiky. Spike Ball, and he's like, wait, there's only one person who calls me Spike Ball. So he rushes back, and it turns out the Rhino is actually Dr. Robotnik. And so he so he activates the device where he summons a whole bunch of egg robos, and it's like, oh no, Badnik! So they try to fight him off, and nothing happens. Like, oh no, these guys are invincible! And as Robotnik's heading for his Eggmobile, it's like, oh, drat, Sonic's here! Well, I'll destroy him! And Sonic's like, oh no, you don't! And he beats him up. It's like, curse you, Hedgehog! I'll get you one day! And so, seems like all is lost for the Freedom Fighters, but then Sonic barges in and destroys the power source that was activating the holograms, because it turns out the egg robots themselves were also holograms, hence why they couldn't defeat them. So they're like, oh, yeah, Holiday was ruined. Yeah, that holiday wasn't much fun. And Sonic's like, oh, on the contrary, I had a great time bashing Robotnik. So that's my holiday for the day. And then it ends.
I'm shocked Sonic didn't say, oh, I had a great holiday because you were miserable, considering his personality in this comic.
Yes, especially with how some people put pretty much on Twitter to say like, "Well, this is the Sonic that the UK got. What an arsehole."
Yes, the idiots on Twitter that can't be bothered to doing the research with the Sonic comics. Or maybe they're just illiterate, but that's being a bit too harsh.
Yeah, perhaps.
Even so, compared with the others, this is the most intense Sonic.
Yeah.
But yeah, the next comic book is going to be slightly nicer. What was that you had?
Yeah, just kind of chuckling a bit with like how Porker Lewis is like, his only weapon he's got on him is basically a sandcastle spade. It's like, yes. I'm going to defeat them with my spade.
Feel the wrath of my tiny shovel.
His real weapon is suddenly changing clothes. I mean, suddenly he has Johnny's jacket in this one.
I know, I was pretty much... When I originally wrote it down, I just assumed, like, it's been so very hot that everyone starts to assume, like, Porker's wearing a different coloured jacket all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's red. It's a scorching hot jacket.
I guess so.
And of course, this is the second time in a summer special that Robotnik's decided to put on the disguise and actually interact with Sonic personally.
Yeah, and yet again, he's betrayed because he uses a specific word that Robotnik always uses. He did learn his lesson.
Yeah, doing the whole Master of Disguise thing. I wonder if that's going to be a common trend here.
And of course, like, especially with him being put on the spot, like, what's your name? And it's like, my name is Rhino Neil.
Smitty Bourbon Jiggerman Jensen, yeah.
He should have said, there are those that call me Neil.
What would you say, Bob? Yeah, oh, I'm Bob. There's always room for a Bob.
Bob the Builder, can he fix it? Absolutely not.
I am Robop. Yes, Robop.
Yeah,
Bob, but Robop.
Like rhubarb and custard.
Yeah, the green rhinoceroses. Yeah, I guess the pink elephants can't be close by.
I also love the fact that even though everyone is super hot and sunbathing, they still keep all their jackets on. So they're not very good at holidaying.
Yeah. They're too cool to lose the jackets.
Yeah.
Well, Porker puts off his jacket. He's smarter.
Yeah. Whilst Johnny's just like, no, I'm too skinny. I've got to keep warm.
Especially since Johnny's actually in the sea, in the water, and he's still wearing all his clothes, including his socks. That's not very smart.
Well, technically he doesn't have shoes on yet.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Because they always fluctuate between, like, you know, if it's not like Porker Lewis having, like, you know, pig hoof-like hands to then suddenly having normal hands. It's Johnny whether or not he's basically wearing shoes or not.
Those inconsistencies, yeah.
Oh, well, I shouldn't be talking about that. Sylvia always points out the inconsistencies in my art as well.
Well, it's kind of ironic now that I think about
Sylvia.
it. Yeah, characters having inconsistent shoes and whatnot, just like how Archie Sonic is very inconsistent with how Moby and feet are designed.
Yeah, just remembering, like, when so like inconsistencies sort of thing with your upcoming animation, where apparently Megalith and Hentai Boy are holding hands. Apparently, just how you drew it though.
Accidentally.
It's like a secret romantic relationship all along. My God, the drama.
Yeah, because like I'm trying to remember which one of them was actually like married and had a kid. Yeah, it wasn't Megalith. It's the other one, Maylene.
Maylene, yeah.
Yeah, she's a
She's
nicer
a
one. Yeah,
She's
I think.
surprised.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've watched IMP.
Can't blame you. But yeah, working on a new episode for the anniversary.
Yeah, well, most I know is that Megalith, the voice of Megalith, actually did comment on one pick I did with IMP episode like 30 or something, but it's made in 2004. So I was surprised that she actually did notice.
Yep, she's very active, Steph.
Ah, nice. She seems nice.
Indeed. But I don't think I'm going to invite her for the stream because he's very hyperactive and easily distracted, so that's going to be a very long stream.
But why have her when you have me?
Exactly, you're never distracting.
Sorry, Megalith. Maybe you could take my spot one day.
Indeed.
Oh, dearie me.
But right, I guess we're done with this exciting holiday story. Shall we
Yeah,
move on to the
because-
next?
because basically that issue was like just only one unique story. Well, the other stories were basically just reissues from the the poster mag specials, I assume, which we'll do in the future, but not now.
Although we didn't mention the sun's wacky face expressions, did we?
Well, I did mention it looked like the sun from Mario 3.
Exactly.
Indeed, but even more expressive. So
And the
first
fact,
very
like, rather
happy,
than
and then increasingly evil, and then at the end he's all like derp, and then he's dead.
Yeah.
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 But it's like, sorry, just saying, like with how in how in Mario, when at times the sun will just shoot out like random fireballs, but this one it just shoots out egg robos, far more deadly.
It's kind of funny. It almost kind of seems like it predates Sonic Forces in a Robotnik using the sun to kill everyone.
My God, Fleetway predicts more.
Oh no!
But right, the next story, Supersonic is a
Yep.
killer. Ewan, do the synopsis now.
Okay. Okay, I've written it all down, so yeah. Sorry for any sort of mishaps and such. Anyway. In a high-security prison in Metropolis Zone, some Mobian prisoners are seen by a trooper that questions, how did they get out of their cells, only to be smashed by Sonic? Tough luck, buddy. At the prison wall, Tails arrives and to fly the prisoners up and over the prison wall, with Sonic happily knowing the last of the Emerald Hill folk are finally saved. Meanwhile, in Citadel Robotnik is very agitated that despite all the security spy cameras that he has, he can't find Sonic or even locate the Emerald Hill folk, so he decides to take out his frustrations on Grimer by literally putting him in a chokehold. But of course,
Pretty intense.
Grimer manages to say they've located Sonic, so Robotnik, after letting Grimer go, proceeds to one of his mechs to locate and defeat Sonic. Meanwhile, on the edge of the Metropolis Zone, Sonic is charging up the only surviving star post to send the remaining Emerald Hill folk to the floating island for safety. But before they can, Robotnik arrives in his spider mech, wrecking the area just to find Sonic, like, come out and play, Sonic, I know you're here. Robotnik then spots Sonic and proceeds to head down to finish him. Sonic orders Tails to keep the Emerald Hill folk hidden, and while he proceeds to take on Robotnik's mech, Sonic gets a few hits in, but gets caught by Robotnik. Questioning him about, like, well, how the heck did you find us so quickly? Well, I shall tell you, off camera. Tails is about to help, but then Sonic gets thrown at full pelt into the side of a building, with Tails assuming the worst. But then an enraged Supersonic smashes out of the rubble and smashes into Robotnik's mech. And Robotnik's looking around, just like, where's that hedgehog? And he's like, right behind you. And Robotnik responds naturally like this.
That's great.
So Sonic punches Robotnik out of the mech and blows it up. But yet somehow Robotnik managed to bounce his way to safety and out of harm's way, apparently.
That's why
So
being
Super
fat
Sonic-
is always healthy and
Yeah.
safe.
Exactly.
Stay fat, kids.
Robotnik always seems to escape despite his massive size.
Or because of it in this case.
Well, it's always evidential in the video games. Because Robotnik, he manages to outrun Sonic, or at least match his speed, so he's truly not only the fattest thing alive, but the fastest thing alive as well.
Yeah, well, with how these comics have been showing us, he's a master of disguise. Maybe that's what he did. He camouflaged himself into the ground.
Or became the wall.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, he's in the walls.
Yeah. Though Robotnik somehow escapes, Supersonic spots the Emerald Hill pig and proceeds to turn it into pork chops. Sonic comes out of the smoke back to normal, where Tails said to, like, Sonic, you killed the pig! It was like, oh, did I kill the pig? Oh, that's a relief. Like, but you just killed a pig! It's like, nah, it's just a robot that Robotnik told me about before he flung me into the wall. And of course, with that knowledge, so, like, everyone's like, oh, thank God. And then Sonic just, so it's like, right, you lot, get the hell out of here. Go for that star post already so we can get out of here. The end.
Would be funny if Robotnik misspoke with what animal species was a spy, just like I did with the badger.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh no, what's the puppy?
Yeah, with that final scene, I can imagine an alternate that scene would be like, oh, you killed the pig, Sonic. Oh, well, that's fine. But what do you mean you killed that pig? Like, well, yeah, of course I killed the pig. I'm freaking Jewish.
That wasn't very kosher, buddy.
Sorry. My apologies to all the Jewish watching.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's kind of dark, yeah, especially the pig's terrified face before he dies.
Yeah.
Like the last thing he sees is Supersonic coming towards him.
Now, with Supersonic, Fleetway version has to be a sinister. Wee.
Like the Cookie Monster background.
It's Miss Piggy, yeah. But yeah, the pig turns into a robot. It turns out it's actually a robot. Like, hey, there's another Archie Sonic comparison. What they did with the original miniseries, yeah.
Oh boy, are you turning to the No Sala? Like, oh, that's a reference to, what was it again?
Yeah, just Sala's all about, oh, that's a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure oh, that's an Archie Sonic reference.
It's all references to you people.
Yeah. And of course
Reference-ception.
But yeah, but apparently the guy colouring the issue, Mr. Tim, forgot like Sonic has tan arm, so he's now got all movie Sonic.
Indeed.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, artwork done by the ever popular Nigel Dobbin. Although for some reason he seems to like draw like Tails' tails when he's spinning, like stupendously huge, like literally dwarfing Tails.
Tornado.
Yes, it's like
Yeah.
like how massive his tails are when they're just swirling around.
Yeah.
Like, calm down, Tails.
Man, yeah, the giant.
Should be able to defeat Badniks that way, just through the air movement of his tails like that. Causing this whole tornado of himself. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like. But of course, I do like how Nigel designed the mech. I mean, it's simple, but yet you can still see like the finer little details in like the legs and such.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun enemy. It could be a great boss fight in a Sonic game.
Yeah, like a spider literally just going all over the top of the buildings.
Yeah, sounds like an awesome set piece.
And yet Sega will never do anything about it. The end.
Of course, because Sega hates set pieces.
Exactly.
Well, Sonic Frontiers had a couple. That could have used a lot more, yes.
Yeah.
So, move on to the next.
Yeah. Of course, seeing like the next page, like out of this Sega world. Obviously, with them advertising like the whole sort of Sega World experience in London.
Indeed, that we all missed out on. Little Sega.
Well, I mean, I was able to go to it a couple of times, but that was only when they decided to make the whole thing like free entry, but you have to pay to use the arcade machines, which is like, well, that sucks. Because back then you just literally have to pay to enter, but yet all the arcade machines were on free play, so you can literally play through the whole thing. So imagine being able to play through the entire sort of Sega Sonic the Hedgehog or like Sonic the Fighter all the way to the end. You'd be like, yes. But then your parents would be annoyed and everyone else would be like, can you get off that? I want to play this game. Oh, I don't want to get to the end. Too bad.
Buy the home version when it ever comes out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're still waiting for like an official release of Sega Sonic the Hedgehog. Whilst we do have Sonic the Fighter, it's only available on like the 7th generation systems.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
Sega Sonic is hard to translate because of its weird controls.
Yeah.
No, could have done with a Wii U.
Yeah, like the
Probably.
Wii U with like motion stuff. Like you think they would have no issue with that? Like especially in DS, because I know there's like a Wizard of Oz RPG game where you move around by rolling this ball, which is kind of similar to Sega Sonic's.
Oh, I hate that game.
gameplay.
It looks so beautiful. Yeah, the Wizard of Oz game for the DS. The graphics are great, but yeah, I don't like the controls. What a shame. But yeah, this stream is taking a long time, so let's just move on to the next comic, shall we? The return of Short Fuse and Techno. So, someone else. You again. You wrote it all down, so you get to do all
Like,
this.
you really don't want to go into the abridged versions. But anyway, look. Okay, fine. Let's just quickly do this. Like, so basically, Short Fuse is in like Techno's work base, and basically, Techno's like, "Yeah, you're strong as ever." It's like, "Excellent," in a most ominous sort of pose and such, and yet for some reason I'm just noticing he's got like a tiny little bulge going on in his crotch area. I don't know why.
Oh yeah, I've seen it too. Man, he's really getting turned on from the upgrades Techno's giving him.
Yeah, it's like, Mike, calm down, please.
Hey, you would get being turned on to if you had to look at Techno all day.
Well, hey, being trapped in a robot body, he needs something to please himself.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
and in reality, it's like, God damn it, why? I'm just like, gosh, he's so hot, but I can't do anything. I'm stuck in here. God damn robotic, I'm going to tear his genitals out with my bare hands. But yeah, anyway, back on topic. The alarm goes off, and apparently 3 egg robots are flying around the workshop. So Short Fuse pops up and basically destroys one of them, but the other one flings a control disc into the into Short Fuse's rear head, which puts him under control, and he sees a gigantic robotic head that says, "Cybernik, you're back under my control. Your orders are to destroy Sonic the Hedgehog." And I goes like, "I obey your master," sort of thing, and flies off with the 2 egg robos, and like Techno just shouts, "Short Fuse, come back," sort of thing, is like as if he would hear from that distance. But a few hours later, in like the rocky desert zone, which is yet to appear in any official Sonic game at this point, Sonic and Tails and Amy have destroyed like a bunch of badniks when Short Fuse turns up and basically blasts them. So Sonic decides to take on Short Fuse personally, whilst Tails and Amy take on the egg robos, and it just becomes more like a whack punch. Like, I'm covering you with smoke, dust, and type as such. And like, gonna keep bashing you even though I know I won't be able to defeat you sort of thing, but oh well. And then the comic realizes like, oh crap, we're not doing 7 pages, we're doing 6, so we gotta quickly wrap this up, sort of thing. So Techno turns up, flicks off the control device from Short Fuse. Short Fuse like, "Wait, where am I? Oh wait, I remember, I was under control of Robotnik. Well, not anymore, smash." Like, "Sorry about the issue," Sonic's like, "Hey, no problem. See you guys." And then Robotnik's last panel is like, "God damn it, I'll make sure that this will be permanent next time." The end.
I love how Techno flies. Just not even waving her arms or so, just...
Yeah, like she's a superhero.
Yeah, Techno flying go.
Exactly. The power of we.
But I love that picture of the giant egg Robotnik just showing up in the sky with a super sinister face. I love to think that's this ability he has, and he can just do that to annoy people. Every single time Sonic's enjoying his lunch, like, surprise!
And there's like Sonic's like, "Oh great, that's what I really want to be seeing whilst I meet my chili dogs."
That's why he never wants to have a romantic moment with Amy. Robotnik can just show up like that all of a sudden. Hello!
Yeah.
I think the one thing I find funny is like in that one panel where a Short Fuse basically just bashes Sonic away with both his hands, as sort of like an uppercut. Tails basically just does like a small punch, but yet somehow it's so powerful it just literally just sends the egg robo flying, which makes me think like if it was Smash Brothers and the egg robo was like 874% damage, and Tails just literally just went. Psh.
Yeah, fatality.
Like, how powerful is Tails?
That's a good question, yeah.
Yeah. Well, now that I'm looking at that one panel with like the Sonic in the game just defeated the random robots. Like the crossbow that she's holding, it actually looks more like a gun up close.
Yeah, realistic gun, indeed. So she,
Oh yeah, that one.
she did it before Shadow.
Yeah, predating Shadow's game and Archie Sonic.
But yeah, I'm really interested how Short Fuse almost looks like Robotnik in terms of how large he is and the poses he has, especially at the beginning. He also looks very fat too, so it's almost like he's a Robotnik kind of robot.
Probably basing it off from the other artist that had to do the new redesign for short fuse, presumably just to make him a little easier to draw.
Maybe he's been doing a lot of stress eating with his claustrophobia.
Exactly. But he gets smaller later, unfortunately. Or unfortunately, depending on how you see it.
Yeah, depending who's the artist, yeah.
But yeah, kind of funny in a way, like how Robotnik appears, like at the end. It's almost like, really? I'm not barely in this story? God damn it.
Oh well. But yeah, fun little story. Always good to see Techno and Cyber Fuse again. Short Fuse, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, short fuse, yeah.
Because I was about to say, Cyberfuse?
Like subterfuge?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I can get a love Robotnik's faces. Oh, you British are so very good at that.
Yeah. And of course there being a small bit of how to draw Sonic, which I actually attempted to do back then, but never came out that good. It would be a long time before I realised the effects of, like, you know, rather than simply just put the pencil and paper and keep it on there the whole time before I realised, you know, if I stroke, it might actually look a little better, and that's why my artwork always looks a bit messier, but more nicer.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of detail in your artwork, yeah.
Yeah, you're pretty good and very smooth looking, so good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right, shall we move on to the next comic? The final
Nice, I
one.
called dibs on this one, yeah.
Exactly, the one you've been looking forward to the most since.
Sonic Movie
yes.
Madness, oh my.
Yeah, Movie Madness, the unexpected sequel, woohoo!
Or prequel, because it was released before I made mine. Still the 90s.
Yeah, now we all know where the name Sonic Movie originally came from.
Not really. It's a coincidence. I never read
Yeah.
that one.
Okay, I'll try and keep this short. So, right, so it starts off with Sonic and the gang fighting off troopers, and the villagers like, "Hey, Sonic, they're doing can I get your autograph? Oh, sure. So I saw you in a movie. Wait, what do you mean? Oh, they're holding auditions by Steven Squealbird. Ha ha." So like, okay, well, there's only one hedgehog for that job. So they head off to the movie studio and they meet old Steven here. It's like, Sonic, you're just the man I need. It's like, yeah, don't worry, I'm a big shot. So they get ready, and Tails is flying by. It's like, oh no, all of the stunt devils, the actors, they're actually Robotnik's troopers. So he quickly gets taken. And as Sonic and his friends are getting ready, it turns out that Steven Squealbird is actually Tim Burton. Oh, sorry, I meant Robotnik. So he fires off the camera, which is actually full of this mega glue, which now they're like stuck fast, as it'll harden in seconds, and they'll be unable to stop him. And only he has the antidote. And Sonic's like, oh yeah, well let's see how far the stuff can stretch before it hardens. Like, wait, what are you doing, Hedgehog? So he gets Robotnik all wrapped up. It's like, quick, you fools, give me the antidote. And so the trooper fires it off, like, I'm free. Yeah, well, so are we. He's like, oh, fuck. So the freedom fighters beat them all, and Robotnik's like, I hate that hedgehog. And then the pretty much issue ends with, it's a shame we didn't see you in a big movie, Sonic. It's like, any movie with me as a star would be a smash hit.
He wasn't lying. His movies were a hit.
Hold up. There we go.
Would be funny if the next director is actually Kubrick and makes him do like 5,000 retakes and Sonic goes nuts. He's locked in the studio all day. Or for weeks. Like,
Yeah. Kind of funny though how in this comic there's quite a few very cheerful looking like troopers. I mean, there's one trooper in the first panel where he's like literally smiling that he's been destroyed, and then the second one that he's basically either getting into or out of his like fake suit.
Oh yeah, I mostly remember the one with him putting on the suit and it just looks so cheerful. It's like, yay, I'm gonna be in a movie.
Indeed.
Although I'm kind of worried about the one on the left though, like where's his clothes?
Good question.
Yeah, in some ways, like, the one on the right is like, yeah, I'm in the movies, and the why do I have to be the tree?
And of course, quite a unique sort of like facial expression Robotnik has when he mentions what the stuff is that was squirted on Sonic and Co. Being like, I call it Mega Glue.
With his tooth sticking out, like he's like a doofus. Like a goofy.
Yeah. Now if only he had the camera... Yeah, now if only he had lowered the camera down a bit.
Making bad jokes.
Yeah. Them Pingus jokes will never die for that design of Robotnik.
Nope.
Never will.
Especially with his legs visible like that. Oh wait, there were fake arms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of threw me off a bit. It's like, no, those are arms. Yeah. Because, yeah, Spielberg's not running around barefooted.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
it's kind of odd though. Like he ends up having to wear like a fake arm skin over his like actual suits. Like how hot is he under all that?
Yeah, like skin color under costume that is mostly skin color.
Yep. It must be very hot, but hey, it's a summer special, so all fitting.
Yeah, the last summer special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they won't do any more sort of specials after this.
So we're never any summers again in Britain.
Yeah, it's cold weather until 2022 when we were hit by a heat wave that basically melted stuff, and some guy drove reverse into my car, denting it, and I was without a car for maybe a month.
Aw.
Sorry to hear that.
But I got a new car, and the peasants rejoiced.
Yay.
And then someone else drove into it again.
Jeez. I hope not.
I hope not
let's
for
hope
you.
it's not red. Yeah, someone else driving into it. Well, let's hope it's not wet pot.
Indeed, he can drive into it. Although you never know, maybe the black hole teleported him to Britain to crash into Ewan's car.
That bastard!
Like, right, where's the flamethrower?
You don't need to defeat Red Pine. He probably got sucked up in another black hole immediately after again.
Or it just falls down into the drains.
Yeah, or he ends up in Aperture Science. and that's how Portal Games was born.
He's just like Shadow and Metal Sonic. He just constantly gets sucked into teleporters and turns up in every comic book first issue.
But then something major happens. Red Pine becomes Prime Minister of the UK.
Oh, that explains why you go through them so quickly.
Exactly.
Well, which one? Because the only one I'm familiar with is Prime Minister Blair, mostly thanks to Roger's cartoon.
No need to memorize them because they're gone in 2 weeks anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Because that's basically what happened when you were doing that one IMP where, like, it was, like, Gordon Brown, I assume, and it's like, get on the field, dive! But then he gets replaced by someone else.
that's why I don't bother trying to be irrelevant anymore with the politics. It goes too fast. I mean, I'll be animating one episode and you've gone through 3 prime ministers before I'm finished. Oh well, politics. Anyway, I guess we're done with Steven Spielberg's exciting adventures. Again, love Robotnik in a Hawaiian shirt. He should do that more often.
Yeah.
And always great to see those happy robots.
Yeah.
Anyway, there were other little special things in the comic that amused me, like Sonic erasing Eggman's crotch. How to draw stuff.
Yeah, it's like, and yet it turns out Sonic is actually a robot.
Dun dun dun.
But just because like the text font that he used is literally just a computer one.
Yeah, that is odd.
And then he quotes a James Bond movie.
For your eyes only, golden eye. Tomorrow
For
never
your
dies.
eyes only. It's
Roger
only
Moore.
for you. Anyway.
Yeah, for your eyes only. It shows a picture of Robotnik in the bikini. My eyes!
Good to know.
And of course, then the next page being like Saturn steams up with Sonic Extreme, which is never coming out.
Yeah. Man, that's so awkward back then, seeing all those commercials for Sonic Extreme.
Poor Sonic Extreme. Oh, I forgot to grab that. But yeah, Ewan, what do you have to say about the virtual reality rides where you get dressed up like a Dalek?
What, in the Sega World one?
Yeah.
My memory's a bit hazy. I definitely remember I was on one sort of like motion gimbal type ride involving this like aqua sea creature type thingy, which is actually which is shown in the top left of the Sega World sort of logo in the middle page to make much of a reference. And I did also try out that VR headset of the which was basically just moving my head all over the place and just shooting enemies that came towards you. Didn't try out the go-kart thing because don't really remember that one.
What a shame. But yeah, kind of weird
now-
all the virtual reality in those days.
Yeah.
Virtual
Yeah.
boy times.
Yeah,
My
looking at
dad
those-
also had a go at the VR with me, but he was grumbling because he couldn't see anything because he's that blind.
Aw.
And those old
But yeah.
devices were really terrible. But hey, now we have decent ones. Even though I barely
Yeah.
get to try them out.
And now that I look at those chairs, they kind of remind me of, yeah, that one episode of Doctor Who when the Doctor hijacks Davros's chair. Anyone who's up for Dodgers?
Exactly.
Definitely, especially with all those balls everywhere.
But yeah, indeed, weird I looked over it, but indeed, we have a Sonic Extreme commercial, and it's very awkward. And of course, noticeable they don't show any gameplay footage, because...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think the two that I definitely remember being on was the Aqua Planet. That's what that was called. Underwater Adventure Not to Be Splashed At, and then ASI Simulator. Pit your wits and piloting skills. But I definitely can't fully recall the other ones though. Because I think those were the only two I managed to get on.
Indeed. But yeah, lucky you even went there. I never went to a
Yeah,
Sega
quite a
theme
few
park.
times. Yeah.
Good for you.
And of course them gloating about stuff like the capacity can hold 3,000 visitors at one time. And of course like the rocket escalator, that massive escalator that goes all the way to the top floor, has 193 steps.
Ooh my.
Do you dare climb them?
So many sexy steps.
Yeah. But of course they had to add more stuff to Sega World just to keep it relevant, including like a very tall sort of drop tower. Right in the centre.
Their own tower tragedy, yeah.
Pretty much.
Right, I think we're done. My brain is.
Yeah.
I'm kind of tired.
Yeah, it's, geez, it's definitely been a while since we've done these kind of lengthy stream bits.
Yeah, well, we had to say goodbye to Sonic X, so...
Yeah, we definitely had a lot to say about the
and these
final
three
days of
Fleetway
Sonic.
comics had a lot of stories, thanks you in. It was a bad day to pick this one, actually.
But then again, maybe next time it'll be a lot shorter.
Yes, the next stream will be a lot shorter, or at least more chill. Or maybe
Yeah.
we won't do any, I'm not sure, because I'm having a bit
Yeah.
of a vacation. Ewan and Sylvia aren't going to be there.
Yeah, because we'll be over at the Sonic Sympathy Orchestra.
Yeah,
The-
you're going to
the
have the Sonic
Bobcat.
Symphony Orchestra. Good for you, sing for Crush 40 and everything. And I'm
Yeah,
not
at
with
least-
you. I'm not going to see you.
Aw.
I'm
not
staying
sure
home,
if-
taking care of the cats.
Not fully sure if like Crush 40, it's a whole Crush 40 thing. I think it's just at least June that's at least been announced.
Oh, still half of them, so that's nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you'll
pretty
cool
awesome
see
for you.
Rocking out.
Guess we'll hear it in 2 streams time how it was like. But yeah, I'm not sure what we're gonna do with the next stream, or if we're gonna have one. I suppose we could just talk
maybe-
about Sage.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I imagine that'd be ideal to talk about, like, you know, your best and worst and like surprise hit sort of thing.
But yeah, and I need to be working on IMP, so I don't have much time. So I'm gonna take something that doesn't take much time to prepare. I think Eddie, our occasional guest, wanted to have a bit of an idle chat too, so maybe I'll
Yeah,
have
and
her,
of course,
do something.
Yeah, and of course we've got to start making plans of what's the next Sonic TV show we might be covering in the future.
That's a good point. We need to follow up Sonic X with something,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure.
Yeah,
what
I had at least one idea we might do, and that's my suggestion is maybe Sonic Underground. And main reason for that is mostly just because of the fact that Roger has never properly seen the show, and I'm real curious to hear his thoughts about it. That, and it's also a little shorter than Sonic X, only has 40 episodes.
Yeah, it
Only
would be
40
interesting. I mean, with Sonic X, I've never seen season 3, so I guess we'll go straight back to a series I've never properly seen.
Yeah, and back then when they first announced it, I just thought I was dreaming about it. Because they only showed one trailer for it and nothing else for a whole week, to the point that I assumed, did I actually dream that was something? But then they showed the trailer again, and so like, oh, it is real, okay.
Yeah, Underground was definitely a thing then.
But Melting Man, can you handle Sonic Underground? Because it's the only Sonic TV show that doesn't really have a comic adaptation or anything. Oh wait, Sonic Prime.
well, unless you count the one Sonic Super Special where they did a crossover with Archie Sonic and Sonic Underground.
I should have known there's always something. There's always some obscure, stupid thing you got.
Yeah, there's that, and then of course there were plans for a Sonic Underground epilogue comic, but sadly that got canceled. But it's I don't know. It's been a while since I've watched Sonic Ground. I have the series on DVD, which I'm sure are expensive. But yeah, I'll just dust those off and pop them in my PS4 if we decide to do that show next.
All right, could do.
Yeah.
Could be nice and nostalgic.
I'm fine enough to do like Sonic Underground. I'm sure it'd be interesting.
See Knuckles' first animated appearance. Oh wait, no, that's Sonic OVA.
Well,
Never mind.
Well, at least his first American appearance.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and of course, now we just gotta wait. Salah will be if they have anything to say about that idea.
Yeah, but alas, he isn't here, so we make decisions behind his back.
But I don't know. Maybe we should ask Captain Fury. Fury, what do you think?
Greetings, friends.
That's not very helpful, Captain.
Would that be considered a yes or no? Maybe
That's a
it's
good question.
positive.
It is positive.
It's positive because at least greeting us. So maybe.
If you said, screw you guys, I'm going home, that would have been bad news, yeah. Alright, well, so maybe Sonic Underground, but yeah, not for next time. Next time is just going to be Sage and just chatting about random things, I guess. Just
Another filler stream. Whoopee!
Yep. Because we need a little cool down after this exciting Sonic X finale, I suppose. I need to focus on other things for a while.
And especially with no more Red Pine jokes. Good night, sweet prince.
For now.
Poor guy. Maybe he should become the mascot of our Dissected Alive series from now on.
Oh, that'd be great.
We gotta put him in every thumbnail from now on.
Yay!
Or
That's our new running joke.
Or at least have him stuck somewhere on the screen. Gradually just getting bigger and bigger until he takes up the whole thing.
He's just replacing all of us.
Yeah, that'd be a fun new running gag instead of the whole Mom, my Roger's not animating it. Yeah.
The coolest Sonic character ever.
Yeah.
Right, well guys, see you all next time, and till next time.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Enjoy Sage.
Toodle pip, and as Luke would say, Cheerio, and the captain would say,
Greetings, friends.
but the opposite.